award-winning New York Times best-selling image comic series, Chew, the role-playing game. A foodie crime drama built on the fiction-first rules of Forged in the Dark. Play quirky, over-the-top characters recruited by the most powerful law enforcement agency in the world, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. 5 years ago, the world changed. The bird flu killed over 100 million people. Chicken was outlawed. It was the FDA jurisdiction. No one could have prepared us for what would come next. Chicken smuggling, egg dealing, and food-powered criminals. And then, shit got weird. Can you balance the demand of your job and the needs of your family against the fate of the world? Sit down, dig in, and find out. A foodie crime drama about cops, crooks, cooks, cannibals, and clairvoyants in a clucked-up world. Back now. And remember, chicken is doomed.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night CASTT on a Saturday. Got you there, didn't I? Whoa, it's zany. Look out. Yes, we are the CASTT gamers playing on a Saturday with a special guest here. And we'll get into that in just a moment, but just a few quick announcements. Welcome. Was that just like mind blown right there, Jeff, Pete? We are
to show everyone how pretty it looks.
Oh, I thought that was like,
look, Chew.
Yeah, so we are streaming as part of the Bodhana Group's the Save Against Fear weekend. We are helping raise funds for the Bodhana Group as part of our Tiltify campaign. Oh yeah, and make sure to follow. There is a donation place to donate, I think, at the bottom of the Twitch screen there. If you scroll down a little bit, you can see our Tiltify campaign. And tonight we're going to be doing a special. We'll have to try and make sure to remind people a few times, but we are going to allow our viewers to donate to help and or mess with us, apparently. So every $10 donation we'll get, you can add an extra die, give one of the players an extra die to roll at some point during the game to maybe help them have a more favorable outcome. Or for every $20 that's donated, you can enact one of the troubles of the players. Troubles. Pete's pulling for the troubles. So
can your $20 be 2 extra dice if you want it to be?
Yeah, 10 plus 10 is 20.
I would say it'd be 1 extra die and extra effect, like taking it to the next level.
Okay.
Which is actually better, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so feel free to mess with us, help us, whatever you feel is right. I really don't mind.
When you think it needs to feel a little more like Tropic Thunder, drop some dough and make it happen. Are we ready for you? Want me to tell you about Chew?
Why don't we introduce the players first? Sorry, for once, I was the one thrown off by that pun. I was trying to like respond to your pun with a pun, and I just, you got me on that one. So I'll give you that. So I guess I would just say that my brain's a little fried today. Anyway, so let's introduce who's going to be playing here tonight. Real quick, and then we'll turn it over to Pete. And yeah, Pete, if you want to introduce the game that we're playing and the campaign going currently. So I'm just going to start with you, Menachem.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Menachem Cohen. I am a spiritual director, rabbi, and tabletop game designer. And a lot of my work is in the design and use of role-playing games for spiritual growth, exploration, and healing, including, or primarily even, I should say, Dream Chaser, created by our very own host, or not our host, our game master tonight, Petrusha. I'm adapting the game for one-on-one use for therapists, spiritual directors, pastoral counselors in session with their clients. I also love working with seminary students of all faiths. I love helping them be better spiritual leaders.
All right. Do you want to tell us the name of the character that you're playing tonight, or?
Oh, yeah, I can do that now. I didn't know we were doing that.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I am playing J-Man.
All right.
J or Jello Man, but J-Man usually.
And which playbook are you playing there?
I am the lowlife.
All right. Thank you, Menachem. Scott.
Hello, I'm Scott. I am a social worker currently practicing in a residential treatment facility, doing therapy with young folks. And yeah, my intro is really simple compared to Menachem's. That's it. No, that's not it. I'm sorry. This time it's relevant. And I am a 20-year restaurant industry vet, and half of which I spent in the kitchen. So I was a professional chef. So I'm especially excited to play Chew.
I was about to message you to tell us that.
and who are you playing tonight, and which playbook did you choose?
So I chose the expert playbook. I thought it was appropriate considering my background. Yeah.
I like how you said it, though. You made it sound better. You're the expert playbook. It's not the playbook, which happens to be called the expert. It's the expert playbook.
Yes. I am Chitty Whitlock.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Kayla, I'll have you go next if you're ready.
That. Thank you. Just muted myself. I'm Kayla. I presently work as an assistive technology specialist, doing fun stuff with tech. And what else do I do? And that's what I do in my professional life. In my free time, I spend a lot of time working on streaming stuff for CASTT. That's what I do. I am playing Charlie Green. She is the hot shot.
Right. And I am Dustin. I am a case manager and substance abuse specialist, many years in the field. And much like Scott, I mean, not as much of a professional, I suppose, as Scott has been in the kitchen industry. I have worked, I spent a number of years working in country clubs, doing some kitchen work and wait staff as well. And also worked in a cafe for a period where I perfected my food puns, which I plan to try and utilize as much as possible tonight. I will be playing Cal Bradger. And Cal is, I have that page up here in front of me. Cal is the inspector. And I will let everybody know now that Cal is loosely I mean mostly based on Columbo, because when I was younger, I wanted to be Columbo when I grew up. So I am going to be a very... Now I can be. I could finally be Columbo.
This is also Dustin telling you to donate to mess up his Columbo's life. Just
why are you trolling me? Why are you trolling me already? Listen. God, Columbo was a very good detective. All right. Anyway, we want to get into the gameplay. Kayla, I thought we got over this.
Nope,
this
we didn't.
Right?
Adversarial
relationship.
I said 2 days ago. I said in chat. I said I think I want to play either the inspector or the hot shot, and you roll in and you're like, I want to take the inspector because I want to be Columbo, and I was like, cool, I'll take the hot shot.
I missed it. I'm sorry. So Okay. I would like to
It's fine.
atone for my sins, so mess with me, please. I screwed up Kayla's day, perhaps. But let me turn it over to Pete, so Pete can introduce our game today.
Okay. So welcome to Chew, the Chew-niverse, if you will. Chew is a comic in a world not unlike our own, though maybe in the 2010s. So recently, they had a little problem with the bird flu. The H1N1 thing went out of control, and unlike our version, it killed over 100 million people worldwide. And this led to over 20 million people in the United States dying of the bird. In reaction, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration became like Homeland Security in the wake of the bird flu and began to police a poultry prohibition, which led the world in the removal and the loss of chicken, if you will.
So wild.
This has built a lot of government unrest. A lot of people wondering if this overreach was necessary. But it is also a world where food powers had existed, where people had been able to cook or eat things in a way that produced magic-like supernatural abilities. People were like mutants, like in the X-Men. Maybe you're born with it, maybe it came over time, but when you wear spaghetti and meatballs on your head, you were stronger than most by a multiplier of how many meatballs you can still balance. Maybe when you cook a meal, everyone that eats it can understand what it was you were thinking about when you eat it.
Ooh.
Possibly,
Thanks,
you might even
Neil.
taste something and see the history of everything it went through in its life by the more of it that you consume, which leads us to a very interesting reason of why you might be working for the FDA. And if you were eating something that wasn't just food, it was cadavers. So bringing us to Chew, our crew of players here work for an agency that is sort of above the law in a time where drug dealing is turned to egg dealing, sex trafficking has turned to chicken smuggling, and where food-powered criminals are on the rise. And also at a time when things like government unrest are shadowed by things like strange fiery writing in the sky, that if there was ever proof of some higher power, it would be that. How did it get there, and how does it wrap around our planet? In this world, the FDA, the USDA, the Department of Agriculture, and NASA have budgets that are just out of this world. And as you'll see, not only can they get away with murder, they can pretty much get away with blaming whoever they want for whatever they want and having all kinds of money and fun gadgets. So that brings us here. Our crew is working for the FDA. Some of them are directly FDA agents. Some of them are on loan from other agents, borrowed for their expertise.
Ooh,
and some are civilian
Thanks
experts.
for the other donation.
Commandeered. This is a case where we follow the long, long man. Can somebody cue the corkboard? So when you look at the corkboard, this is a tool we use at the table. Visually, it is a corkboard, but we put Post-its on this corkboard. Post-its for our characters at the bottom in orange, and Post-its for the case in pink, Post-its for the details of the case or the objective that we have in blue. And like any crime investigation, we're hoping, by our intention, at least as players, that we will be able to narrow down who the suspect, what was the method, and what was the motive of the crime that we're trying to either stop, prevent, or get to the bottom of. Right? You are presented a case file, or have a briefing with your boss, or visit a crime scene. In this case, you had a meeting with your boss. You were given the case file, and that's what these yellow Post-its around our blue detailed Post-its are. They're kind of your leads, your clues. This is a game where ultimately it will be the players who decide who they want to blame, point the finger, or accuse for the problems at hand. It will be up to the players of what actually may have even been behind all of the reasonings and root causes, if they care to go that far to figure it out. It will be up to the players to lead and take us to where they want to see this fulfilled. Because at the end of the day, they're all quirky agents trying to balance a delicate life and a difficult, absurd work balance. And Some of you may want to phone this case in. Some of you may want to get to the bottom of it for every ounce that it possibly has because of your diligent nature and need for service. And that we shall find out. Anybody have any questions before I drop you into the Tuniverse? Yeah,
I don't think so.
With all that said, clearly it's on Kickstarter right now. So if you type in Chew, the role-playing game, based on the, you don't have to type this part in, but based on the award-winning Image comic series, you will find, thankfully, we're doing very well thanks to backers and patrons like many of you. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We have a wealth of comics for you to see. And if you haven't and you like what you hear today, I hope you will check those comics out because they're fantastic. You'll see a lot of range from zany characters to dark and twisted shock value sort of stuff. Okay, with that, let's get into it. Let's dig in, shall we? So, all right, you know, somebody's got to start them, right? Somebody's got to start them.
Yeah, it looks like there's already been a couple donations to throw salt my way. I think 2 as far as I count in the chat so far. So
good to know. Good to know.
It's not gonna be Cal's day, I feel like, but you know, he's gonna try the best he can.
Let's go ahead and go back to you know, us in the overlay if we're not already.
Yeah.
Focus back on the players and the characters. As these cases are, they're always kind of the flavor of the week. The true story we're trying to tell here is I want each and every one of you to role play to your heart's content, to be over the top characters, to have fatal flaws, to be ripped right out of the comic books. Take desperate action, take risky action. Don't worry, don't overplan. You can always use flashbacks. And let's get to it. We are at the In-N-Out Motel. Standing before you is what used to be a fast food restaurant, a chicken joint called the Mother Cluckers, that had been expanded into like a longer building behind it. So you can kind of see the frame. You know, if you see a Dairy Queen or something, you can kind of see the top half of it. It's pretty identifiable. Well, that's the same with the Mother Cluckers. There's a second building that's got a high level and a low level, but think motel, right? I mean, it all looks the same from the outside. This motel in particular has a busted sign, hanging letters. It looks like no one's ever swept or power washed the parking lot here. The cars that are here seem to be cars that have always been here. You're not sure if any of them have ever moved, whether it's because of where they're sitting, what they look like, or you know, what's holding them together. There are people walking around in various stages of sobriety, various stages of what's the other word? Not sobriety, of drug use without having a $5 word.
Inebriation.
Inebriation, yes. There are people walking around without pants and obviously without care of anyone else or anything. This place has all the vibes of giving you an STD, starting a drug habit, or being the place you crawl up and die in. So, and it seems like everyone else just lets it coexist because it's surrounded by other commercial businesses with no seemingly care. But yeah, you're dropped here. I imagine with there being 4 of you that you were in one car. I'm not there, and neither is any silent, invisible participant. What car would we arrive in? Would anybody looking at your gear or looking at an idea of who you are have a different car than maybe a standard issue like black sedan? Oh, we're raising our hands?
100%.
What do you got there?
I drive a 1964 Al Camino.
Okay.
The bed is completely filled with all of my scientific gear. I mean, you know, these portable labs don't transport themselves.
Awesome. Okay. So you have an El Camino. It sounds like there's not room to fit anyone else, or am I incorrect?
There is room to fit one other person. I was actually giving my mother a ride to a pharmacy. I've just dropped her off.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Okay.
Yes. Well, we live together.
When you were looking up, I was waiting for you to be like, well, someone could ride on top. Okay. The other three of you, I have a feeling that one of you actually was here already. So how about our hotshot and our inspector? It's the typical Tango and Cash. Did you two ride together?
I don't think so.
Okay. All of you tasked from one location. All of you arrive separately. You know, you work together. You don't have to be friends.
I want to be dumpster diving for Jello.
All right. Something to tell you that's instantly interesting about the dumpster that you're in is the dumpster you're in seems to be reconfigured to be a compactor. It is around the backside of the Mother Cluckers part of the building. And it has literally been manipulated, configured, jury-rigged to be a compactor device as well. This is surprising to you. But yeah, if you have any more questions, you can ask me. The rest of you arrive. It sounds like in all of your miscellaneous vehicles, but I was queuing up the hotshot. What does the hotshot drive?
Well,
You can check your
Okay.
gear if you want it.
yes. Well, so I was looking. I don't. It's a sweet ride, so it's probably super fancy. I'm technically a celebrity, so I am the hot
Kitchen
shot.
Camaro?
So, what did you say?
Kitchen Camaro?
Maybe. Yeah, we can go with the
A
Camaro.
Mustang,
No. We'll go
Charger,
with the Camaro.
Challenger.
No.
So look at it like everyone pulls up casually, and if there was a camera that could pan, it would then turn to the street as you would see the sweet ride pull up. And some of the people that are around the motel would turn and look, would lean in the balcony. Even the person that clearly runs the front desk would be fogging up the glass and conveniently looking out. It's like, who the hell would drive that nice ass car here? Like, and I can almost imagine you not finding a parking spot as you just kind of block the middle of the area.
That's
But
right.
up to
I
you.
was just gonna say, I like angle in.
The parking spots are too close to broken glass, so you know you might just want to like, yeah, it's off the road. As you all arrive, you're here to investigate the missing employee of the month, Jonah Welby. Jonah Welby is also a fellow agent of the FDA, though most of you would think is a pretty average employee. Gets rave reviews and is routinely the employee of the month because it's pretty clear that your supervisor, Director Kress, I don't want to say he has a thing for him, but yeah, she's just got a thing for him. Like it's just pretty obvious. You were sent here to follow the long man, Derek Cho, who has returned. The long man has a case file that would include incidents that happened nearly a year ago, in which a financial institution of Tiffany and Liam consultations, the board of directors were thrown out of the window, and the term was eviscerated along with many financial documentations and littered along the streets below. Derek Shaw at one time did work as something of a attorney, basically for them, more of like a writer attorney, writing rules and breaking laws of trying to finagle the best deals for the institution and not for the clients. But something clearly changed. And Derek Cho went into hiding afterwards. The board of directors were removed. TLC is no longer a thing for the most part. But everyone has wondered what happened to this man who seemed to have strange abilities to eat food and seduce those that saw Derek Cho along. So you have all been informed that if you are to see this person, you have seen a photograph. So it's a little dorkier than maybe what you imagine. You see an Asian person who clearly has been working for the man. It's an office photo, so it's like a hunched person with thick glasses, and it's 10 years old. The hair is shorter, of Derek Cho. So you do have an idea of what this individual looked like. He was probably about 40 years old. You were sent here because this was the last known location of Jonah Welby, who was also tasked with finding the long man, but has gone missing. The photo you were given of Jonah Welby was a half-eaten sushi roll. You don't exactly know what that means, and your director didn't give you any opportunity to ask questions about that. So kind of had to deal with that. It says Jonah Welby and there's a picture of a half-eaten sushi roll. Yes.
I wonder if it was a literal photo or if we actually got a half-eaten sushi roll.
Oh, it's a photo of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking at the board, and you don't have to queue to it. Yeah, that's satisfactory. So currently your lead is Jonah Welby, here staying at the In-N-Out Motel for God knows what, in hopes that it'll lead you to Derek Show.
Okay.
What do you do first? You are at the In-N-Out Motel. It's clear that there is a front desk with an employee that works there. It's clear that there are a lot of people that are pretty shady here. So you want to take that route of talking to people.
You said that somebody was at the front desk?
Yeah.
Cool. So everyone knows who I am. And I'm just going to walk to the front desk expecting that they're going to know who I am.
With what you just said, everyone knows who you are because you have a quirk that says what?
I am a celebrity.
Okay. So every character has a quirk, which is kind of like one unique thing about them. They might have a food power. They might be a cyborg. They might be literally an FDA agent from the future who was sent back to alter the future and then left here. That's as far as the technology went. Or maybe they're a celebrity. These things, generally speaking, are for the player to use to their heart's content, try to influence the narrative. So yeah, you start walking towards the fogged up window, which I mentioned was fogged earlier from the car. But now from the person, you literally, it's like, these are like walls of glass. Like if you went to go see like a McDonald's, right? As you came up, you just see like walls of, well, I guess every McDonald's is different. But it's one of those kinds of places. You could see the seats, right? If there were seats still here. But you just see like the desk and the countertop, and it looks like a rental car place or something. The front's very low key and minimal script. The windows are like super fogged, and you see a person who's just wiped enough that their eyes are looking through, which clearly is the one employee who's working over there. You don't know how humanly possible one person could have fogged all the windows, but not the first time you've seen something weird like this happen, being a celebrity. Do you go inside?
Yeah, I'll go inside.
Okay. Does anyone follow?
Well, I want to come around the front.
You are just right around the corner. You actually come in from the side where no one would see you at this point because you're kind of on the back side of the building where everyone else is in the parking lot.
Hey. Like, hey, Copper, what the fuck are you doing here in the celebrity face? And I go, good to see you. In an undertone. I'm an informant.
Yes.
Okay. Who do you say to? That's talking to
Charlie Green.
Charlie Green.
Yeah, me. I'm gonna like tap your shoulder. You've just been in the dumpster, right? So I imagine you have like garbage on you.
Oh,
you could insert garbage.
Okay.
What garbage do you see?
So I'm gonna kind of be like,
that's
good
gross.
To,
Let's
good
just
to see you too. And I'm just gonna like toss a banana peel to the side.
Classic.
You've been doing your job.
Yes. We have another person in an El Camino. Where are you currently?
So I probably like carefully parked the El Camino behind the what did you say, Charger? No. What did you drive? Kayla?
Oh.
Camaro.
I parked the El Camino behind the Camaro, and like I'm like triple checking all my gear and like looking like hesitantly at all the people around. Like this is why I never go out of the office. Oh God. Oh, there's probably avian flu everywhere.
For Cheaty, what are Cheaty's approaches? Approaches are a thing we're going to talk a lot about. It's kind of like 3 traits that every character has. And in a game like this, in Forge in the Dark, a lot of times, every time you make some kind of roll that's important, we're always looking at all of the factors that can possibly provide some kind of an effect. So that's one of the reasons why I will hammer down consistently what approaches people have, is everyone in the world will be very keen to these. So what approaches does Cheaty have?
I am 100% raw.
Parts on
so
your sleeve,
I just
everything you mean.
Oh, I'm just so transparent about everything. You know, I feel no need to dissemble. After all, the truth is the most powerful weapon we have. I'm an egghead, and I'm refined. I have very fancy taste. You know.
Okay. I can almost picture you with a curly mustache, but for you to decide, not I.
I'm imagining myself as this like tall, slender black man with like this like I can't think of kid and play style, like super high
flat top.
High flat top, and like these thick glasses, the kind that like magnetically meet in the middle. So I'm constantly like my reading glasses. And then I have another pair that I wear up here. Those are the far sight glasses, and I'll like pull them down.
I feel like you just described like you're like a male version of like the She's All That movie. like you got a lot going for you, but it's the egghead thing just won't let you break out just yet. We just took those glasses off and like I just
took the driving glasses and put them up, just double checking all the gear. And like, you know, some vagrant like comes near and I'm just like, oh, hello.
Well, I mean, you have a car, right? And clearly the people that are here have the vehicles that are here probably don't work anymore. So I think it'd be very great if like literally there's a person who walks up, they have a coat on and no pants. You're pretty I mean, there might be underwear, you're just not quite sure, but they're conveniently standing at a height where like the front of the car is blocking their lower half. So they're standing there and they're looking at your vehicle with their hand on their hips, and there is a noise that sounds like running water, but you know, you don't know for sure if they're actually peeing in your car or not.
Excuse me, sir. Could or ma'am, person, could you kindly step 10 feet back from government property, please?
Oh yeah, of course. They are clearly peeing in your car, and as they back up, you can now see that they're peeing in your car. It's the only thing that's changed.
Oh God.
Okay.
That is not sanitary.
And where's Cal? Where's our Columbo?
Cal is gonna be walking over, I guess, as this is happening, over to Chitty. So I have an old beat up gray Volkswagen Cabriolet that I drive. Actually looks like it might fit in here. So
I really wish I owned that car now.
Ooh. Thanks for the donation. Look at that.
So I come walking over, smoking a cigar,
nice.
Brown trench coat, very plain looking pair of khakis, like a white button down shirt. Come walking over, smoking the cigar. Show Chitty. Is that on your car? That's unfortunate.
The person has now turned and stooped, I believe is the technical term. And if you when you're like,
did you do that on my car?
Well, you're not. You'd have to get closer. But it could be like on the fender bumper. It just depends if it's actually projectile at all.
Oh, I 100% take like my FDA badge out and start like running towards him, like, excuse me, sir, this is government property. You need to step away. This is clearly a violation of code. And I start like rattling off the codes, very egghead style.
The person lifts their hand up, their left hand, like over their shoulder. Like, you got any papers, man?
I think I vomit.
That's fantastic.
Pretty sure I vomit.
Well, more importantly, do you vomit on the person, or did you vomit also on the car?
Did you vomit in your car?
Nope. Worse than that, I vomit on Cal.
Oh.
He happened to walk up at that moment. It's not my fault.
Ah, jeez.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Right
sure
on your shoe.
the worst part. Oh, yeah, your shoe, but also like just the first part of it was deflected by your cigar, which was, thankfully didn't get on your face. I mean, personally, I think that'd be worse, but it did put out your cigar. And as a previous cigar smoker, that sucked. Like it just sucks, especially because like if you were to relight it, it would have this wonderful vomit
flavor.
sense. So yeah, I mean, you probably have more. Probably, right? Or time's tough. Time's a little tough for call.
They don't pay me enough in this job. Jeez.
Kaylee, can you do me a favor? Where are we at when it comes to did anybody invite any trouble? I want to make sure that I don't drop the ball on these things.
With donations, you mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a $50 donation for Trouble for Scott and an advantage for Dustin, Menachem, and myself. And then earlier,
sorry, when you put it like that, I mean, Scott, what did you do?
I don't know.
I like you. 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 Oh yeah, yeah. No, what can we do to that person? Yeah, do that. We love you, Scott. We're just.
I believe Dustin has two
yep,
troubles.
and Dustin has 2 troubles.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for the donations, everyone. We've raised $218.
Yay! Scott, it seems very clear that I need to know as soon as possible. Then, Scott, what your trouble is on your sheet?
Where do I find
your
that?
name?
Oh, that would be my daughter. She's climbing the corporate ladder at Penicillin Plus, a ruthless company that I am not proud of this.
Your daughter calls you right now. The phone, because it's your daughter, has like an interesting ringtone. What is the most loud? Literally, well, I think it'd be great if it's like a fire horn. Like your phone literally makes like a fire horn noise. It's this loud, blaring noise that probably deafens the people around you. But you just wanted to make sure that it never, ever was missed because, like, it's like it's your daughter and she means the world to you. So this fire horn's going off while you are vomiting on Cal and, not on your car, but everywhere else. And there is someone who is literally shitting on your car. You answer the phone.
It's my daughter, of course.
Yeah, and then you tried to. One ring and went to voicemail.
Oh. And then I probably vomit on the phone too.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna. I don't think there's anything else for me to investigate out here.
She calls just to let you know that she called, but she doesn't actually talk to you. So, I mean, did she need something? Or was it just like, oh, I told you I called yesterday. I did call. Just saying. It ain't easy. Life sometimes. Columbo, what were we talking about?
No, I'm just going to pat Chitty on the back and just be like, yeah, I don't think there's much for me to see out here. So good luck with that, friend.
Inside. So inside we have our celebrity. You walk inside. The person is sitting on the floor. It's an aged gentleman. Looks kind of balding. A thin hair on top. Got a beard that's pretty ragged. Looks a little disheveled. Like there's just something like one button on the button-up shirt is just off along the shirt. There's little to no decoration here. There is a coffee maker that probably has more dust on it than coffee in it. And there is one lone computer that looks like it's from the 80s. But the person is sitting on the floor looking at you as you walk inside. And when their head raises up to look you in the eyes, it's almost like you heard corn popping, like popcorn being made.
Corn.
And it's the person making the noise in some kind of like fart thing going on. It's not just like a fart, like the person is actually like bouncing on the ground a little bit. And it's a bizarre sort of like must be food reaction, like food powered thing. Mm-hmm. And Do you say or do anything? Because you very quickly, very clearly notice that you're the cause of the problem. So what do you say or do? You open the door and you start hearing popcorn, and the person sitting on the floor, and they're kind of beginning to bop, bop, bop a little bit.
Excuse me. Why are you on the floor?
I can't help it, and pop, 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 pop. Just I never pop, 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 ever get to see a pop, 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 a celebrity.
I know. It is very intense.
There's literally popcorn coming out of their pants.
That's amazing.
Maybe what she'll really enjoy is the name tag says Jiffy. So
that's their name.
Well, I hope so. Otherwise, it's a bad coincidence.
Okay. I'm gonna say Jiffy. Why? Could you like calm down for like just a second? Me and my pal, and I'm gonna like move more banana peel off of his shoulder.
Okay.
Are here. We have an investigation.
It seems like as long as you're the one talking in front and center, that nothing's going to change.
Great.
Of course, you can challenge that by trying to make a roll and make a change.
Yeah,
in the game.
I mean, we can make a roll. What would I roll?
So this is a risky situation because it's if you blow this, it could literally mean whatever you try to do makes it so this guy pops out of control and we lose the sleep assistance here.
Great. That's perfect.
There is, I mean, a reasonable effect that you can kind of calm this person or get them to level out because it seems like stress related or something.
Okay.
How would you approach that? Like, what do you want to do to?
Okay. So can I say something like, I'll sign a piece of your popcorn if you calm down.
I'll sign a piece of your it sounds like this could be a charm roll. What attribute do you think it should be? What would you like it to be? You got charm, guts, instinct, your training. What are you relying on?
It's probably charm. I mean, my guts is higher, but charm makes more sense.
Your approaches. What are your approaches?
Bitter, rotten, or mouthy.
It sounded so good, so we talked about your approaches.
I know.
So you. This is gonna work great.
I know.
Are you the Snooki of
I resent that.
investigators?
So when I said that it was risky and you'd have standard effect, I really meant that it's risky and you have limited effect because it's risky to the point of near desperate. So it's not a huge consequence to you. So it can't be desperate. But it's kind of hard to imagine how this works out really well for you. So go and roll the number of dice that you have in charm.
Okay.
How many dice is that?
It's 1, and then I have an advantage. So
okay. Yeah, normally you can choose to spend some of your appetite resource to dig into, lean into an approach and add a die. But you are getting one for free, so you don't need to do this. Somebody could lend a hand, like J-Man, who is there, if J-Man had some approach that might help in this case and wanted to spend an appetite.
I mean, I'm very charming and delicious as an approach. People like me.
Yeah, that could be very distracting in a good way.
So I was going to sit down and start next to the person and start munching on some popcorn.
Sorry, I just
great idea.
It's like so gross.
Didn't that come out of his pants?
But
he was just in the dumpster.
Is it chocolate popcorn?
I love that your character's delicious, but you just came out of the dumpster too. So it's like really working for you, you know?
Is the popcorn still warm?
What was the Zoolander? What was Will Ferrell's character's name? Remember they had that whole design line that was like
Haven't seen it.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, they were just they were modeling the new line and it was like all trash bags.
Yeah, it was
like Art Deco, but it was stupid. Okay. Do you want to assist? Like, do you want to lend a hand here? Spend 1 appetite?
I was either gonna help or make my own roll.
Okay. Up to you. Are you helping now, or do you want to wait?
I'll help. Why not? Okay. Yeah. Let the cop take care of things.
Okay. And since Mugatu, yes, Mugatu. And Kayla, since you got an extra die from the audience, we'll let that ride. Usually get one from one of the things, but we'll give you two because of.
Cool.
So go and roll 3 dice. Now, you just want one high roll. If you get,
Okay.
I mean, if you get 2 6s, that's the best. But otherwise, getting 1 6 is almost the best. Getting a 4 to 5, you will succeed, but there'll be some consequences. And if you roll it, if your highest is a 1 through 3, it's just bad.
Okay. So I got a 6.
Okay. How does this level the person out? How do they chill? How does their anxiety ease in as they I mean, one, like we gave you a little bit, right? That distraction can kind of help as the delicious person sits down next to them and eats some of the popcorn, and you do what?
I'm gonna pull out my handy dandy marker because enough people ask me for my autograph on any given day that I just carry like 3 or 4 Sharpies. And so I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna just kind of reach down and say, "Excuse me, I'm gonna just take this." And I'm gonna grab like the biggest piece of popcorn. I'm gonna sign my name, and then I'm gonna hand it back and just say, "Here you go." That sells for like $6,000-$7,000. Easy.
When you grab the popcorn and you start to pull it up to write on it, he says, "No, please, please, would you just sign my forehead?"
Oh, sure.
I haven't lost all this hair for. I need a good reason for why this happened to me. Just give me a good reason.
Sure. I don't know. I'll sign my name.
And as you're doing it, he awkwardly is like, "My name is Jiffy. 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 Jiffy."
Okay, so I'm gonna sign to Jiffy.
Okay, great.
Charlie Green. Right,
Okay.
takes up his whole forehead.
Okay, Columbo, you walk in. You see a bunch of popcorn laying around. You see J-Man sitting down, tossing some popcorn in their mouth, and you see your fellow FDA agent signing this man's forehead.
Just gonna kind of walk in, holding the unlit cigar now. Just kind of got an ashtray.
As you look around, you just see a garbage can.
J-Man, you seen an ashtray around here?
There was one in the dumpster.
There's one in the dumpster.
I'm just gonna like set the cigar down like on the ledge, like next to the door.
Okay.
Instead, and just be like, did I miss something? What's going on, J-Man?
Why are you talking to me?
I'm gonna look. Why do you smell like vomit?
So let's go ahead and close the curtain there to move us forward. As that all happens, several minutes later, all of you are standing at the counter, talking with Jiffy, who, their name is literally written on probably backwards on their head. I don't know. I forget how that works, if you're right. And Chidi, you're with us, of course, right? So all of you are here. I feel like Chidi probably still has a little bit of a look of like, I can't believe everything just happened to me. Like, you look a little dismayed probably, but that's on you.
Want some popcorn, Chidi?
There's a bowl conveniently of popcorn now. It's the coffee pot, because it was holding nothing. So does Chidi eat the popcorn? Because you may not have saw where it
do I
came from.
realize that it's come from this person's body?
I don't think so. That's why it's like you just walk in, you're like, "Hey, want some popcorn?" I mean, J-Man's eating it.
Yeah, but I know
J-Man looks scraggly and homeless, so
I know where
J-Man the best reference.
I've thoroughly read all their profiles, and I've worked with Agent Green a number of times. When I say worked with, I mean like I've done like the research, side of her footwork.
Okay.
Like so of course, like I'm a huge fan of her work, but I'm gonna say no.
What I like about this is you just open up a very interesting way we can actually narrate what's about to happen. Why don't you tell us what Charlie and J-Man are going to do? because you know them so well. You've been profiling them for years.
Oh
So
God.
they have the the shop owner here basically, who is pleasant to them now. They are looking for Jonah Welby,
Yes.
who was here for some reason or another. The last case, somehow, what you know is that there was a half-eaten sushi roll as the clue here of what happened to Jonah Welby, who went missing here, and a half-eaten sushi roll. The connection is lost to you, but these are the things you have. So
in Charlie's usual abrasive style, she will, of course, demand to know all the answers of the sushi roll. The shop owner, who clearly has never eaten sushi in his life, you can tell that he actually has an allergy to finned fish based on the dip in his lip, which is obviously a genetic marker for that allergy. But J-Man will casually sidle up next to him, as is his wont, and in a charming, non-threatening manner, offer the gentleman what happens to be his favorite snack from the depths of his coat. Why J-Man has that favorite snack? Well, it happens to be J-Man's favorite snack as well. How do I know this? I can see the opened and empty bag of blue Takis in the trash can.
They make
as I
blue
walk in.
Takis?
They have blue Takis.
I'm totally missing out right now.
They have blue Takis. It's disgusting. And if you've ever read J-Man's file, you know that in the reason that he never made full agent and is still only special agent is because of a certain someone who got away. And while J-Man was buying himself a fresh bag of blue Takis from the 7-Eleven across from a crime scene. And then, of course, the shopkeeper will spill everything that he knows about the half-eaten sushi, which was found upstairs in one of the rooms.
I do believe that there needs to be blue Takis added to the corkboard on a yellow post-it off to the right, and it needs to be placed between you and J-Man because we need a question mark over it about who actually does eat the blue Takis. So I task you with that as we move on to what's happening.
I'm sorry, what am I doing?
Put a post-it note on the corkboard between you and J-Man with lines that it says blue Takis.
Okay.
We need to eventually know who it is that actually eats the blue Takis.
Pete,
is this just something that you always say about J-Man, or does J-Man actually eat blue Takis?
Amazing. We
Did
got
somebody say
another.
something?
Yeah, we got another $50 donation.
What?
2 extra
Nice.
dice for the hot shot. That's me. 1 extra dice for Menachem, Scott, and Dustin. Sorry, you guys aren't that cool.
Thanks for your donation.
Yeah, that's killer. Okay. So it sounds like, Charlie, you're going to get all kinds of answers. So let's start there. What questions do you ask? I'll let you know about the sushi roll. There is actually sushi in the one vending machine they have here.
Okay.
You'd have to go look at it because, like, this guy's worked here long enough to know I would never, ever, ever eat that.
So I'd have to look at the sushi in the vending.
But the vending machine has sushi.
Okay.
Sushi rolls. Sorry, it doesn't have it does not have a variety of sushi.
we don't have a picture.
The In-N-Out Motel. Yeah.
We don't have a picture of Jonah, do we?
You don't have one, but someone who does, or who could paint you a picture of Jonah Welby, is right behind you. It is a known factor for all of you, since you work at the same place, that Cal hates Jonah Welby.
Oh.
Cal cannot stand Jonah Welby. When Cal has to sit in the director's desk, or at the desk in the office, where every corner of not every corner, every flat wall has a picture of the employee of the month, it's like he's surrounded by gunfire. Anyway, why did you tell us how you feel about everyone talking about Jonah Welby right now?
That must be so upsetting for you.
Yeah, I mean, if we could just figure out what's going on and get out of here. Great.
Do you care about finding Jonah Welby?
Well, I mean, it's my job. Yeah. I mean, we got to find the guy. I hope nothing bad happened to him. Maybe part of me does, but I mean, I wouldn't say it out loud anyway.
Do you happen to have a picture of Jonah Welby, or could you find one? Maybe like where you write bad, shitty things about him behind his back and you blog about it or something. Or you secretly slip pictures of Jonah Welby to like underhanded people in criminal organizations, or the time where you thought about having actually put a hit on him, and
is there like cell phone? Would I have like a cell
Yeah,
phone? Would that
of
be
course.
legit? Okay?
It's your standard issue, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
I am
the wallpaper background on my phone is just a picture of Jonah Welby, and then underneath it just says "Do better."
It's like an
Can I
inspirational
take
poster.
the phone? I'm gonna take your phone. Can I see this? I have this. I'm gonna look and be like, that's what? That's weird.
I like to think like you've seen it before. You're like, I
It
wish I didn't
weirds
know
you
this.
out every time you see
Yeah.
it. Still, you're like, really, dude?
I wish I didn't know this, but I know that. Yeah, Cal's got a picture. I don't know.
You should really, yeah.
You show that picture to Jiffy.
Yes, yeah, and I'm gonna ask them. Does this person look familiar?
Yeah, and you're a celebrity, and we've already kind of rolled to see like you guys got past the barrier. This person's gonna tell you whatever they can, right? So he looks at the photo. Oh, that guy. Yeah, I've seen him. I got security cameras. I'm sorry, I'm talking a little fast and casual for this guy. He's a little slow with almost a southern drawl. So he's like, oh yeah, that fella. Yeah, he's been around here. He begins to describe a woman it sounds a lot like Director Kress, but like with blonde hair and like maybe a boob job and like like high heels and often a long coat. But it sounds very interesting, like the description.
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of thoughts
I'm
about
sorry.
a blonde wig.
Could you say that again? I just need to make sure I get good notes on this.
He hasn't
Yeah,
finished
yeah.
yet. Let him finish.
So when so
You
can
said
take good
I
notes
heard
there.
I heard boob job.
Yeah, that's where it starts. I didn't hear anything before boob job, but I did hear boob job. So what was it again? Yeah.
Sorry, I was still looking for that ashtray.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And I was thinking you're saying this as a player and not as a character. Yeah. So the guy looks over. Yeah. She's got this long blonde hair, but you can kind of see the white in the front. And she's usually got this like vinyl jacket. It's real long, like black. You kind of can't miss it. It's got one of them like tie things in the middle, and got like high heels. Sometimes they're pink, sometimes they're red. And I mean, she's got that coat really tight, and I'm like, I got a boob job. I got a pretty good eye for that around here. Some of the high priced ladies, they work at the In-N-Out Motel. That's how we got our name. You don't believe anything said about that. The first part maybe, but not the last part. This place has not had any high end anyone other than Charlie. Charlie's really stepping up the game for the In-N-Out Motel.
Yeah,
Putting it on the map.
I'm sure you get a lot of high flying celebrities. I'm sure that they're very happy with your service every time they come in. Thank you very much. I'm gonna just.
Why are we talking about some woman instead of the guy we're looking for?
That's a
You
really
hear
great
some
question.
popping noises.
Stop!
You
You're
think
making
you've
him
made
nervous.
Jiffy
Stop.
uncomfortable.
What? Huh? What?
No, just Cal made Jiffy a little uncomfortable.
There's
some popping.
So, are they would they tell us anything else about what Jonah's been doing, or where, like,
Room 68.
Great.
Shows you a camera feed if you want to see it, but just shows you and we'll say you see the camera feed just because that gives you more of what I was alluding to. That you're like, is that Director Kress with the wig on? Yeah. So you see room 68. But who's our infovore?
It's me.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't feel like I should give it to you though. You are the person who consumes all the information. Yeah, you'd come back for you. All right, so yeah, you see the camera. First, you're just looking very close at it because you're like, God, and it's just like how he walks. He's got like a Hot Topic shirt, but like it's like got hot sauce dipping all over it. Like that's just literally Hot Topic. He looks like he's vacationing. He just totally doesn't belong. He should stick out like a sore thumb here. And she looks like, like a high price, escort. Want to be pleasant about it. And they're going to room 68. But what you see behind them is everyone else is like, yeah, I think she's got a wig on. Yeah, those shoes, that's really tacky. You see a shadow of an individual walking out from room. What comes after 68?
69.
You see the back of a white sport coat. Seems to like almost catch the wind as a little bit of the tail flips up. The black hair seems to like have a little bit of a gust in it. And what's in the right hand that's hanging? It's just a shadow. But it looks like something very, very long. Probably a baguette. It's hard to tell. I mean, it's poor footage or yeah. Da-na-na! You think that might be the long man who was next door?
Hey, Jiffy.
You hear a pop, and then he turns slowly.
Oh, Jiffy Pop.
Welcome to the joke, Scott. Welcome to the joke.
I'm glad you could join us.
God! Oh no! I just got it.
Oh, Scott.
Simmered on the stove for a little bit.
Oh,
It was they were toasting before it
thank
popped.
you.
So, what do you say to Jiffy as he does the pop, 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 pop?
No, sorry, just needed to get into room 69 there.
He looks at you. Why would you go in 69? I mean, this is 68.
Did you see something?
I see a lot of things. I always see a lot of things.
Hey,
You can't turn it off sometimes, That's why they
Oh.
don't pay me the big bucks, but I'm trying to do better.
What about now?
Which one of
Fucking
you
Jonah.
feel like it is a little like, okay, this Jonah Welby obsession is too much? It's very clear that, Cal is being very vague here for some reason. Everyone, I mean, literally his phone background is do better. That picture of Jonah Welby. Every one of you who has any history with this office FDA knows that he's got a problem with Jonah Welby. Now he's being weird after you watch the video, wants to know about the room next to it. Which one of you does that set off? We have anyone spicy? Anyone who's a carnivore? Anyone who's okay?
I'm 100% raw, so I'm just going to turn to him and be like, Cal, I read in your profile that you and Ms. Welby, Mr. Welby worked together in tandem cubicles for a number of years before you were promoted from special agent to inspector. I'm just curious because I didn't see in the file anything about a interoffice bromance, as it were. What was it that what is it that seems to have set you off so much in this moment? I don't have any relevant data to inform your sudden change in
Jealous.
what.
And I'm just trying to do a good job here, and we're looking for
Couple for Cheaty.
the long man, right? If we saw anything about the long man, we're supposed to pursue that. I'm sure Jonah's fine wherever they are. But you didn't see it in the video. Of course you didn't.
J-Man is half baked, and I'll say, well, he could be half baked too, but look, this guy's obsessed with that dude, Jonah, right? And he sees something in the video that says, look at room 69 when he's so angry and hocked up about Jonah. So I trust him.
What? What?
Hey, Dude,
That doesn't make any sense.
Chidi, your phone rings.
Is it the? I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God, my daughter calling me again. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Hello, sweetie.
Yeah, my car's broke down. Are you busy right now? Could you give me a lift?
Well, Daddy's at work right now, honey. Could I call you a tow truck or a Lyft Uber service? They have
You can
those.
almost hear the anger and the sadness, the infinite sadness behind. You're always too busy for me. I just needed a lift one damn time. Click.
Hello. Oh, we must have gotten cut off. Hold on. Let me just. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I like start calling her back.
Yeah, straight to voicemail.
And,
family
she
family
must be trying to
troubles
call
there.
me. Let me try again.
You know, Chitty, I read in your profile that your daughter's not happy with you. Should probably go tend to that. We can do the investigation if it's too much.
Charlie, there's a lot going on here, and you feel like you've awkwardly stood in this office for about an extra 5 more minutes than you needed to.
Absolutely.
Because you just kind of find yourself like looking at one person and looking at the next person and looking at the next person and waiting for like the cue of like, should we go now?
Yeah. Can I just have both the keys? I'm not waiting around for the rest of you. Can I have the keys to 69 and 68?
Of course, yeah. I'll get them for you. Anything
Thanks.
for you.
Great.
He like motions you over behind the counter. You see one, you see a shotgun. One, you see a lot of layers of plastic. Seem to be like nicely like patted down under the counter. There is a shovel, but it's like a hand shovel. It's like folded. You see what looks literally like a small container, like it's really wide though. It's like a liquid, and it's got like poison symbols on the side, and it says corrosive all over the place. And then there is a jar that you don't know what's in it, but it looks like it probably has either teeth or
Great.
yeah, you're pretty sure it's teeth.
Cool.
But none of that is what's important. Actually, then he's like, but right here, and he has this little tray with the different key cards for the room. And he reaches over to 68. And I don't have 69. It's gone.
Well, that's a problem.
He hands you 68 and he motions towards it. You like see like a key card for like, why is there 70 rooms at this motel? I don't know. But you see 76 rooms and you see 75 keys. Well, now 74 because he hands you one. Which also would mean like no one's staying here, but clearly they're duplicates. So. But it's very noticeable the one that's
yeah. That's
now
just...
68 has a heart on it. Just the key card has a heart on it. I think it's a sweet.
I'm gonna like turn back and say, I think that they were having an affair. And I'm gonna
Sorry, could you say that again?
I think this heart means that it's like the romance room. I'm just gonna like hold it out like, ew.
I don't think it's romance.
I put on a pair of plastic gloves, like crime scene, like I've got like a little crime scene investigation pouch.
Yeah.
I like put on some plastic gloves and take out a bag, a little baggie and some forceps, and I put it in there, and then I take out a Sharpie and I like label it.
Can I, as you hand that? Oh no, I'll save it. I'll save it for now. That's fine.
And then I throw the gloves out into the garbage immediately.
We skip to room 68. You're on the balcony, like the second floor of the second, the building to your right. It's one of the rooms that faces out towards the back, which is just more buildings. There's some kind of diner over in that direction. Looks like a 24-hour joint. You get to room 68. You have the key card in hand. Who's holding it? Is it still Charlie?
Yeah.
I know you were trying to plot it out.
I know I was.
Oh no, I've got it.
Okay.
I've got it in the evidence bag.
Chidi is in front of the door with the evidence bag in plastic gloves, holding it in front of, you have to like swipe it in front of the thing to make it like access and turn green. Yeah, you can do that for as long as you want, but it never turns green in the baggie.
I'll open the evidence. Like I take like a deep breath. Like, nobody breathe. We don't want to get any additional particles inside of the evidence bag. Like I open it very crisply. You continue to disgust me, J-Man.
You open it. You open the bag, and you're like daintily.
Yeah,
Can we open the door? Let's come on. Let's.
We ain't got time. Like I'm just gonna grab it and swipe it. Like
Great.
God, working with you guys is so difficult.
The two of you both have, right? We owe you both some trouble, right?
I'll be like, ladies first.
I believe actually, because we owe both of you some trouble, I think that you two do this weird, awkward dance of trying to like be choose who gets to use the card. And you access the door open and you both fall through, like not through the door, but you fall in when the door opens. And you both slide into the room on a chocolate covered floor. It's what do they call it? Like when you have like a fancy bowl of ice cream and you have like a banana on it and you've like, it's like a sundae, right? And you got that dripping, drizzling chocolate that just like oozes all over the place. It's a little bit like that. Like this romantic suite clearly had chocolate lathered all over it. And you can see, to your horror, probably what looks like raptured people, which was clearly their outfits, like they're disguised. You can see everything Director Cress was wearing, including the cutlets, for the boob job, right? That are like littering the room. There's definitely some kind of chocolate fetish for sure. There's like a love swing. It's weird.
I'm gonna literally say, I told you it was kind of weird romance thing.
But they're occupied. J-Man, you see a half-eaten sushi roll. It looks to be at least 2 days old. Older. 2 days older than however old it was before. There is a platter with a half-eaten sushi roll.
There's your evidence.
What evidence? What did you find?
As everyone pants in the room. It's like the bed's all disheveled. There's like clothes everywhere.
I take out my little notebook, like little
while you're covered in chocolate.
And I like put on the little booty things that they have for crime scene investigation. I squish my way over to it and I begin like writing notes out loud. Writing notes and speaking them out loud as I write them. I have to do this. I'm sorry. So I
have to do this.
Quirk. I'm a Sabo Scrivener.
Oh yes. Oh no.
And so I begin writing what I'm observing, but with the sushi roll, and I'm like describing like the fungus that's like grown over the tuna, and the differences in color between that and the fungus that's grown on the rice, and how the tuna is slightly desiccated and the seaweed clearly is no longer crisp. And because I'm a Sabo Scrivener, I write about the food so accurately that you can all taste the rancid, decaying.
Who do you show it to first?
Oh no, I'm reading it out. I'm reading out loud.
I'm gonna say at the same time, I picked up the cigar on my way out, and I'm like covered, like I fell and covered in chocolate now, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on like when you tried to get up, if you like ended up rolling around in it.
Definitely. Okay. I definitely like,
Yeah, it's slick. So it's kind of like you like slid in, you like slid to the bed, the foot of the bed, right? Because you just went, and it would have been straight down one side of you at least, if not your coat.
I feel like I didn't quite get up. So like I got to the bed and I just kind of rolled over sitting there and I was just like, man, I need a cigar.
Yeah. Well,
I lit the cigar. again.
It makes sense that it was difficult to get up because there's like a lot of lube in particular around the bed. It's probably like mixed in, you know. It's probably got different flavors, which luckily no one's gone there yet. So just saying.
Yet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You got food power. Somebody
so
might. You know.
Charlie never entered the room. I've been watching this from the doorway.
There's a shadow looming in the doorway.
Are you guys done yet? I'm ready. Like, it doesn't look like there's anything except the sushi roll.
Yeah, so Charlie, I mean, you start hearing and like, you know, the vomit is rising levels to your chest, but you're the only one who can kind of quickly get out of earshot. I mean, it probably still requires a little bit of like, what's that called? Like when you like vomit in your mouth? Like you
yeah.
There's a little bit of that going on, but
great.
So inside, otherwise, I mean, is there anything stopping Cal or J-Man from just well, one, J-Man, I mean, it sounds horrible, but like, I mean, you already dumpster dive, so it's not like. The funny part is, like, I almost feel like Chidi reading Chidi's own words would vomit.
Yeah.
Like, Chidi's like writing it, he can't stomach it. But like, J-Man would be like, oh, yeah, I mean, sometimes I would eat that.
Green and blue. Blue.
Yep.
You can just knock off the list part right here. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, so everyone's you kind of look at J-Man, and J-Man's like, what? You know, like, so J-Man, what do? Do you go to the burrito? Do you walk out of the room?
I'm gonna say to Charlie, should we enter room 69?
Yes.
Now, room 69 has no card key. How do you enter otherwise?
Was it locked?
You go to the door and you turn the knob. Not only is it oily, but you get a strong smell of what smells like, I'm going to say Everclear, but like, you know, really strong alcohol that's coming when you get to the door and you turn the knob and it's locked.
Are there windows? Is there a vent?
Yeah, there is a giant window. I mean, the drapes are closed, right? But like each one of the rooms has like that giant double window sort of thing.
Is there a transom above it?
Sure.
I'm just looking for an entrance for a Jello creature.
Can you climb
Yeah.
that?
How about that?
So I'm gonna take out. I'm carrying a soft side cooler slung over my shoulder. I'm going to open up and reach in carefully and pull out a hunk of Jello.
What color? I mean, that's what the world wants to know. What color?
Yeah, what color
Red.
is it?
Red. Okay, and is it strawberry, cherry, or
You're
apple?
asking the important questions.
It's, you know, I believe red is a flavor in some things.
Fair enough. Okay.
All I know is it's red. You know, I probably got it off someone else's plate.
Somebody out there in movie land or TV land or audience Twitch land is very pleased with you. It's just red.
Yeah. So I'm gonna carve it into a close approximation of a spider.
Ooh. Yeah, you make this weird, creepy Jello spider.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, hey, go in there and open the door for me.
Oh.
Inside.
And it doesn't do that because it's just Jello.
No,
but I'm
a Jello bestiar.
All right. And it awakens and it starts moving its jello-y tendrils, legs. Tendrils sound so much better than legs. So,
tendrily legs.
Yeah, tendrily legs. And how many did you give it?
How many? What did I give it?
How many legs?
It's a spider. Doesn't it have 8?
Okay, it has 8. I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Maybe you gave
it has 8.
12.
I forget.
32. Okay, so it has 8 legs, like creepy and crawly all over your hand, and you let it ascend up on the roof, sort of
as high as I can to get to the transom, so it can crawl in.
Does it have like Jello webbing that it shoots to like climb upon?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and is it like it's kind of like a red vine, but it'd be like Jello strings? That's I want to eat some Jello strings. That'd be pretty.
It'd be like these like fruit bits, you know, that I have. They're just like stringy red things that's longer.
Okay, the spider descends. What do you hope that the spider will do?
Open the door.
Oh yes, 100%. Um, to open the door, why don't we have you roll? So
Sure.
you seem in control, but it's risky because you don't know where you're sending it. And this is you rolling kind of on behalf of the spider, which really means a name. I mean, like you lovingly love these fellow creatures. Lovingly love.
This is
love,
Boris Jr.
love. Okay, Boris Jr. has ascended. How many eyes did you give it? Because I mean, like some people think the eyes on a spider are creepy. Like you give it 2, so it's like more human-like, or is it
Oh,
like
8.
yeah, got a lot of 8s going
I
on.
like
I'm not
8.
going to ask about any
Lucky
other things
8s.
about this. Okay. All right. So, what attribute would you roll? See either how well informed or communicated you explained your plans to the spider, or how
think-
confident the spider is. What attribute do you think we should roll to see how this spider handles this task?
I'm asking it to run on instinct.
Okay. It's got all the instincts of Jello.
Yes.
All right, red Jello, very unspecific. Go and roll instinct. It's risky, and I think I'm gonna say that it has standard effect because like it can get to the doorknob. I mean, if it can
It says to go
web,
up and down.
it's not that hard. Yeah, I mean,
No.
like you picked a good creature. So risky standard. How many dice you get for that?
Well, I've got 2 in instinct,
Ooh, trouble for J-Man.
and I have an advantage. I still have advantages. So
Okay.
I'm going to use one of my advantages. in
What
face of the
is
Jello.
J-Man's trouble, by the way?
Oh.
Well, I believe this obsession with Jello to maybe
Okay.
a level of vice, right? You know, like
All right.
I go to a banquet, I'm still gonna go around and take Jello off people's tables. You know.
All right. So the spider goes. Go and give me a roll.
I got highest of a 5.
Okay. So with the 5, you succeed, but there is some catch. The catch here, clearly, as we have been told, we need to fight some trouble into this. The door comes unlocked after a minute or so, but when the door opens, to your horror, the spider is melting.
No,
Melting.
I'm gonna
Seems to
without
be
looking.
dissolving in a very strong liquid, a strong smelling liquid, like an alcohol that seems to have stained the floor. It is
No.
dissolving very fast in it. And as it is, it's like its legs are shrinking as it's melting, and it's giving a little bit of a hissing noise, like it's burning, you know. And the spider is kind of crinkled up, and is all little 8 eyes are looking at you, like, why did you do
I scoop it up as fast as I can.
that? Okay, you do, and when you do, you have a handful of Jello. It's the red stain of Jello in your hand. Very clear that J-Man is a little disturbed.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Poor Boris Jr. You lived a good life.
Meanwhile, the door opens. The strong smell of alcohol pours out. Pours out. Sorry, that's bad. Inside, you do see a broken bottle. Let's not say broken bottle. There's a bottle, clearly some liquid. It looks like a room pretty well kept. Otherwise, there is a window. Happens to have a drape in it that is blowing. Small window though. Yeah, I don't know if any of you could really fit. Spider could, Jello spider. Anyone else would be a little hard.
So a little heartbroken. So
Yeah, makes sense.
Is there
Cal
chocolate
probably
on the
took a
floor?
minute. Chitty probably took a minute. So Charlie, you're there immediately, right?
Yeah, is
So-
there chocolate on the floor?
No, there is not.
Okay.
when I was with Charlie when we did this, we both
Yeah.
went in.
Charlie will
Yeah.
step into the room.
Like I said, it's kind of nondescript, but that it's clear that like liquor was poured in this, and very strong kind. The fact that you can still smell it, it's not really so wet in a lot of places because at least something that strong dissolves quick. But it was kind of wet by the front door still. And like I said, you find a bottle that's leaned over. Appears to be like Everclear, really.
Had fun in here.
It is just one bottle. Okay.
Is
As you're
there-
looking around,
Watch out for the bottle.
Watch out for the bottle.
Is-
J-Man, you clearly, you're distraught, but you can walk on in, look around
Yeah.
if you'd like to. I know
I imagine I'm on the floor.
that first step would be troubling.
Is there anything? It's just a bottle, right? Like it's not like.
Well, I don't know. What do you do to the bottle?
I guess I'll pick it up and sell it.
Really perceptive detective may notice something. What do you roll?
Well, if I have to be perceptive, it's instinct.
First of all, your approach is, I know you're bitter, right? You're bitter, and
Yes.
you're what else are you?
Bitter, rotten, and mouthy.
Yeah. How rotten are you? Something off about your character. Something
Yeah.
peculiar. What do you think that might be?
Peculiar. I've been thinking about that.
If you want to keep thinking about it, you can. But if some idea that might help you with the sniff test, might also take that into consideration. You could otherwise roll what? To gather information from the smell of the bottle.
I think that would be an attribute, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What would you like
instinct.
to roll? You want to use your instincts. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're using your instincts, you take a smell of the bottle, just for some reason you feel like you should smell it. It's so strong, this room. It's gonna smell strong, right? I think that it's risky, because you're clearly feeling like it's got to be some food power related
Yeah.
thing, that maybe like the scent. And inherently, if that's the case, then anything could happen, right? Like this could be a trap. So go ahead and roll. It's risky. The effect, I'm going to say, is limited because you really don't have anything more than that. It's a hunch.
Mm.
Go ahead and give it a roll. You do have
Okay.
advantage if you want, right? I think you have at least one or two stockpiles.
Oh yeah,
so.
I think that's true. I do. Okay. I'm gonna roll the 2 dice. So 3 total.
All right. One of the
Okay.
things I'll mention, while we only have 2 players at the moment, generally speaking, you can always have something, one extra effect, right? You can dig in by your own accord, lean into one of your approaches, get a die, spend 2 appetite. Somebody can lend a hand, right? Cost 1 appetite. But the third thing you can do is anyone other than the player who's rolling can offer a consequence, a devil's bargain, if you will. This happens no matter what, get an extra die if you accept it. So something to think about if anytime you're like, oh, but it'd be great if this happened. And you're like, you can
Yeah.
always offer that. And then they could take it for an extra die.
I got a 6 and 2 5s.
Right.
So
Rolling hot tonight. So get your 6, you take the smell of it. When you take the smell of it, it's weird. It's almost like when the moisture hits your nostrils, it's like you can almost picture something. Like you can almost picture a building, like blueprints. Like it's like a tall building, skyscraper maybe. It's like if you could just get more from it somehow. So,
Can I drink
J-Man, J-Man, you see Charlie like huffing this bottle, like.
Oh God.
I was going to
Which is
offer a
funny
devil's
'cause-
bargain, but you already rolled before I could speak up.
Did you say you want to drink it?
Yeah, why not?
All right. So it's still Everclear, right? So
Yep.
I think that you. Sorry, I still have these habits occasionally where I want to be like, you can resist. But yeah, so these thoughts come to you as you lick the bottle, and you drink the limited contents that are left, and you see the building run by Penicillin Plus, another financial institution in the proud, charmed city of Baltimore, which you are in, you're residing in, you're working out of, and seems to have like the layout of the building,
Okay.
the exits, the entrances, and it's very clear that there is some note of how to get in the top of the building and how to get in the bottom of the building, and that there is a floor that's like an unmarked floor. It looks, only reason the schematics, it looks like it's like a half floor.
Yeah.
In an
And-
8-story building, the 7th floor seems to be like a half floor. These are the
Okay.
things that come to you almost as if they're like pointed out to you. Um, and are you?
I bet.
It's like the more you think harder on it, and the more that it's really sinking in, the more it's like you've just been chugging Everclear.
Yep. Yeah.
And now there's not that in the bottle. It's
Yeah.
got to be something to do with this food power that's like delivering this message. But
Yeah. I
J-Man,
think
you can literally see momentary moments of Charlie's eyes rolling in the back of their head as she is just like, see the
yeah.
just the seventh floor and
Yeah, and like slurring, like we gotta go. This.
Way to go, Charlie. Party
Can
on.
Can you see this? Can you?
Could I
and I'm
come
gonna,
in
like,
at this
I'm
point?
gonna say, can
Yes.
you like see this? And I'm gonna hand the
Cal
bottle
and
to
Chidi
J-Man.
clearly at this point, whatever you needed to do in the other room, you've taken care of and you're here. And Charlie looks slammed and is holding an empty bottle of Everclear in the room.
Come in, I'm just like, I've got the cigar. It's actually lit now in
Yeah.
one hand. I'm just like rubbing my tongue, like trying to get the taste
Yeah.
off of my tongue. Like,
Oh
Gee.
yeah, don't drink more of that.
geez,
We can-
Charlie, we can drink it on the job, man.
We can analyze that down in the El Camino, in my portable lab.
Analyze what? The empty bottle?
Oh no, the fumes.
Well, no,
Clearly, there's some kind of power at work here, and Charlie has become highly intoxicated.
Charlie's like slurring and is like building and like swaying.
Yeah, that's called drunk. You know, that's
Oh no, that's just the effect of a power. If she were simply drunk, I would be able to give her one of my patented no drunk pills.
are those just like sugar pill. All right, Chitty. Can I try and like take in the scene here because I haven't seen this room. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Like, I want to maybe use my infovore approach,
Yeah.
just taking things in
Walking
around here,
taking it in,
just kind of walking around. I'm not gonna make the mistake of smoking the cigar again, but I'm just walking around with it lit.
You find a little note. It's in the toilet, unflushed. You just see a wad of paper, but it looks like a Post-it paper, right? It doesn't look like toilet paper. Do you reach in, pull it out, and read it?
I feel like, can I just flavor this a little bit? Like I would have
Yeah.
gone into the bathroom to maybe try and like wash some of the chocolate off of my face.
Sure, yeah.
And then like as I'm doing that, I look over and I see it in the toilet there, and I'll
Yeah.
totally just reach in and grab. Like I've got no shame anymore today.
When you look at it, right, it's runny, right? So it's been sitting in there for a while. But you pretty sure you can tell that it says here is the information you need. It seems like no, you'd lose. I was gonna say maybe you could tell how it was rolled up at one time. It's not important. It was put in a bottle, right? Like that's kind of what I was like, but the clue would be lost at this point from sitting in the toilet.
Mhm.
You also would have noticed that the window was open. That was right before the bathroom. There was a smaller window where the blind or the drape was, blowing slightly. Just another thing of note as you walk by.
All right, I'll grab the post-it note and I'll look at the window. Like, did you say the window's smaller or something here?
Yeah. Can somebody roll me a d6, please? A little bit. Sometimes there's fortune rolls, which are kind of like when you need a randomness for things. There's d6s involved, but generally I don't roll any dice. I'm gonna keep it that way.
6.
Okay. That's really funny. You look out the window and you actually see just like not really like across the street, but if you look down, it's like there's a diner not too far away, but on the other side there looks to be some other kind of like, let's see, what would it be? It's like a U-Haul sort of place. It's got like storage, like garages and stuff, like just the little lockers. And like along the side of it, there's a fence, and you see like what looks like a food truck, kind of like a hot dog stand. And the person, it seems to be some kind of like Orient like some kind of pork seller. Like from this far, you can kind of, it looks like a Chinese variant of like some kind of like meat that's being sold. But when you look out the window and you look that way, you see what looks to be a giant crab. By giant, like the size of like a dog. And it is like with its two pincers, one holding like a steak knife. It's like attacking the food truck. And there's the person who's like using the food truck to go left and right to try to like keep it at bay. I'm really happy that I said at bay.
What's
Keeping it
attacking?
old bay. But like
What's attacking the food
Perfect
truck?
seasoning for crab.
it is a crab.
Oh,
It is like a dog-sized crab.
Okay, I
With
heard
one
dog.
claw is holding a steak knife.
We
How,
could
how
catch
big
that.
is this window?
Okay.
I mean, a person could get through it. It just would not be very easy. If you were a beefcake or some other indication approach that says you're larger, you couldn't make it.
I'm just gonna yell out the window and be like, "Hey, hey!" and start trying to climb through the window.
Yeah, so everyone can hear right in the back of the room that Cal is yelling out the window. What does everyone else in the room do? Because it takes at least a minute or like 30 seconds for him to get out that window. So
I was probably taking the bottle back down to the El Camino to
Okay.
analyze it in my
your lab, yeah, sure,
in my portable lab.
yeah, okay. What about Charlie and J-Man?
I'm gonna head
Charlie's
down and
pretty
talk to-
wasted.
Yeah, am I still
Go talk to Jiffy.
intoxicated?
You are
Yeah.
still intoxicated,
Okay.
but it doesn't mean that you wouldn't be like, oh hell yeah, yell at that person. Like I don't know. You really have no idea what he's doing. And then when you look, he's like trying to climb out this small square window. He's doing it, but like he's like his feet are dangling and he's like half through.
How
and he's
high up
pushing.
is this hotel room? Is it the main floor?
You're on the second floor, so
you would
Okay.
so go push him. You would so go push him.
it's probably like 12 feet, but he going out the window. Oh, that's true. You don't know if there's stairs over there or not, or if he's
Right.
just falling 12 feet.
Yeah. So Charlie's gonna go up.
I feel like I got to get myself in some sort of trouble. People pay money for this.
And
In 12 feet, it's probably like 16 feet. Because
Yeah,
it'd be
so-
higher on the end of the second floor. Yeah. so-
J-Man, Charlie's gonna go over to Cal and is gonna like drunkenly place a hand on his back and be like, "What are you doing? You could fall." And then it's gonna like grab him, but it feels like he's gonna go out the window, and then I'm gonna pull him. We'll pull him back in just a little bit. That's
What
stupid.
could possibly go wrong?
That does.
Possibly go wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pulling
So-
him pretty.
Do like the
Charlie-
fake push thing, but then grab them to be like, "Oh, gotcha."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and Charlie's wasted, so I think that
Yes.
Charlie would actually have to
Oh,
roll for
geez.
this.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
Charlie had good intentions,
Yeah.
but Charlie's also a little bitter.
Charlie's rotten
Oh.
too.
Charlie's rotten, and Charlie's wasted. So,
Yeah.
what attribute would you roll to just toy with Cal a little bit?
Yeah.
know,
I
Just
think
messing with him.
I think I'd roll guts.
Okay. Yeah. You're like, oh, how this couldn't possibly go wrong.
Yeah.
Go and roll your guts. I think that to offer you a devil's bargain, if you won an extra die, he could get stuck in the window. So either way, you can't really like if you fail, he doesn't fall, but he gets stuck. And if you succeed, like you pull this off, but like then he has a really hard time of getting in.
Okay. How what is the devil's bargain piece of
You just
it?
get extra die.
Okay,
if you
I
if you
see.
don't mind that
Yeah.
either way he's stuck in this window. So if
Either
he
way.
falls, like he's like dangling with a foot, right?
Okay. And if without it, if I fail, he just falls.
And without it, then he would fall.
Great, let's just
You
do
pushed
that,
him out the window.
'cause
Okay.
That's
Go
more
for it.
entertaining.
It is. I like it.
Okay.
I wish I
Um,
could make it so that it was easier for you to do this, Joe.
No, it's okay.
Then I would
So-
be a dick.
Okay, so since I'm inebriated, my guts is 2. Should I still roll the 2 die?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just that this should have been in control. Like you
Right,
should have just
and
been able to not
and
roll,
yeah,
right? But because
makes
of all the
sense.
stuff, we're making it
Right.
risky.
Yeah, that's fine. So I got a 2 and a 4.
Okay. So with the 4, I mean, obviously, if you just wanted to say you pushed him out the window, even though you tried not to, you could do that. But with the 4, what were you trying to do? Because that's what happens.
So I was trying to like scare him and then pull him back in. So like there was like a pause. So I think he probably like I like overestimated my ability. So I like smack his back. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And it like lurches him forward and I like just catch him in time and like pull him back in and he hits his head on the window as he comes back in.
What's your trouble? What is Charlie Green's trouble?
Yeah. I got my master's in bird law and now I have to work in the FDA to pay it off, which yeah.
Yeah, talk about the wrong degree at the wrong time. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Okay, so I was just curious if I could invite your trouble in some way at the moment. But I'm gonna hold off the debt collectors for the time being. We got enough going on here. Okay, so we do have other consequences that can happen. It was risky, so there should be something that comes off for you. I'm gonna give you the first condition that we've offered so far. I'm gonna give you cocky. Your
Great.
character's training has made them a little cocky. You think that you can do more than you can maybe actually chew. So there are 2 ways you can get rid of cocky over the rest of the course of this session. You can either refuse aid as your action during some pivotal moment, right? Like, no, I'm fine. I'm totally fine fighting this crab that's holding a steak knife by myself. Watch
Yeah.
me do this. I'm not drunk. I can do this. Or you can spend times trying to work through your issues with someone important to you, calling for a scene if we're not stuck in the minute-to-minute action, right?
Right.
But for now, take Pecky.
All right.
Oh,
So it
Charlie,
kind of works as another approach, but kind of negatively usually.
Right.
So. What was it,
sounds
Chidi?
like I was just going to say, it seems like Charlie's going to bite off more than she can chew.
All right. Cal, what would you like to have happen?
I
Did you
mean,
make it
sounds
out the
like
window
nothing good.
eventually?
Am I trying to go down? Like, is there any way down from here? I forgot to look before I left.
You see a dumpster conveniently below for you to fall in. It looks like soft trash.
I could confirm that. Except
Am I but I'm stuck in the window, did you say? Like,
no,
that what-
you're okay because Charlie was messing with you, kind of pulled you back in, but now if you want to continue to get out, you can.
so I got pulled back in through the
Not
window.
fully, it was just more like put the hand on your back. Charlie was just effing with you. Charlie's drunk, so Charlie thought it was funny that you were half out the window. And like it's like,
Absolutely.
oh, I almost pushed you, but no, I didn't. I'm holding on to you. You're okay.
Charlie, Charlie, I was aiming for that dumpster down there. Jeez. You see the giant crab? I'm like reaching for my gun also, like, oh, I shouldn't grab that before I jump, probably. My standard issue.
You can't see anything because the cow's taking up the whole window. So he's talking about a giant crab.
I think you're
As he's
seeing
reaching-
things.
He's trying to get his gun, which is like getting his hand stuck in the window again, back with one arm in the front. And so convenient this time, we're just going to have you fall out the dumpster. So you fall out the window into the dumpster. Do you mind if there was a gunshot fired?
It sounds appropriate.
All right.
The way my night's going, I'm covered in chocolate,
Thud, bang, bang.
and lube, and falling out of windows, and being puked on my cigar as well. So.
Okay. So cutting that scene for the time being, as clearly what's happening is not really effective at helping the person who's fending off the crab. And there's a case to be had. The first thing I want to draw everyone's attention to is as we're heading towards maybe like the half hour of gameplay that we have left before our sort of debriefing and stuff. Let's look at the corkboard. So looking at the corkboard, I want to start getting the players in the mindset of cracking the case. So The player characters are looking for a suspect, a method, and a motive, and trying to find and get to the bottom of the long man case. Um, some things happen with Jonah Welby here, may or may not actually be important for what you're doing. But what did we learn? Did we learn anything about the suspect? I mean, it seems pretty clear that Derek Cho is the long man. Did we have any new suspects? Anything that would change that? Anything that's important for us?
I put room 69 on the
Cool.
corkboard.
The method, room 69. What was in room 69? We had
Alcohol.
Information
But-
delivery system.
about what?
Penicillin
Information
Plus.
about the company.
Penicillin Plus. Now, Scott, did you hear Penicillin Plus? It was not mentioned to your character, but clearly in
Oh,
this sort of
Scott
montage,
heard it.
it'll come up. I'm just going to put PP because it's a small post-it note. PP
It was found
is
in the
involved-
toilet.
I'm sorry. Did you say the PP was in the toilet? What
It was
the-
found in the toilet. The note.
Okay.
Right, there was some There was a note about pee-pee in the toilet.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think that's the only
also
place it was.
Charlie
I think-
also saw the.
I think there's
building.
some PP on Chitty's car also.
And some
There's also
PP.
some poo-poo on Chitty's car. Chitty's not having a great day.
I'm waiting for someone to walk by and like, what's with the shit car?
Really shitty wheels on that car.
What do we know about the method of Derek Cho? Is there somewhere Derek's going? Something that they're about to do?
He may be going to the 7th floor.
Penicillin Plus
Someone's going
skyscraper?
pee.
He might be going PP.
I mean, Charlie's convinced that that's where we need to go next.
Someone has given someone information about how to get into the Penicillin Plus building, and there's a fake floor in between floors.
And we did have one character who believed that they saw what must have been this silhouette of the long man leaving room 69. What about a motive? Penicillin Plus is a financial institution. It is one that actually deals with healthcare. It has predatory practices that can be traced back to World of Warcraft, where healers would troll people for money, or they wouldn't heal them. This
That's
did eventually
amazing.
turn into a very profitable business, as they worked with over 30 hospitals in the DC and Baltimore area. Their HQ is located at Johns Hopkins, not the one you're thinking of, just the skyscraper. They literally call it the Johns Hopkins. We happen to know somebody who also works at the Penicillin Plus building.
Yeah.
My daughter.
Well, that is if she could have got a ride. So she might have had to call out.
Hey,
today.
honey, did you still need a ride to work? Daddy needs an excuse to go to your job and snoop.
So what I'd like to do here, because we don't have a lot of time, is I'd like to push the group to try to crack the case with that information. And what that all that does is it gives us a number of dice to roll to see what kind of a position we walk
Mhm.
into with these facts. Do we walk into something where we're kind of in control? Do we walk into something that's risky, or do we walk into something at a bad time and shit
Yeah.
got desperate quick?
Can I ask? I wanted to ask Jiffy why the what's it called?
Trash dump? The
Compactor.
dumpster?
The dumpster, or the trash compactor.
Jiffy doesn't know. Jiffy's like,
Okay.
really? I could have used that shit. Jiffy also reveals like, I could have really used that with like getting rid of a lot of waste. You know, when there's just a lot of waste,
That
like
what,
6 foot tall.
that what the acid's for?
No, I just mean like volunteering more information that's incriminating
Yeah,
without
right.
being
Because
overly
the
incriminating.
stuff behind the counter wasn't incriminating enough.
Yeah, they're disposing of something here,
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
someone.
Yeah, but he does clearly seem like he doesn't know, and he really wishes he did, because that would be very useful.
We also know that Jonah Welby is either obsessing with the boss and having someone dressed up as the boss, or it's the boss wearing a bad
Yeah,
outfit.
there's a possible affair. Yeah.
Possible affair coming here.
Okay.
Is it an affair if they're not married?
No,
It's an affair if they're
not.
hiding
It's a-
it.
Yeah.
No, that's not an affair. That's a tryst.
A tryst.
All right. Okay.
Somebody put a tryst on the board. That's just
We don't know if it's actually her or not.
dun dun dun.
I also
you-
like that like everybody's like investigating these clues and everything, and I'm jumping out a window to go
Yeah.
stop a crab. Like, oh, there's a case we're trying to solve. Hang on, I'll be right back. That person also looks like they're having a bad day.
Yeah, they're having a
Okay.
bit. You'd say it's making them a little crabby.
Oh,
So
It's better than them becoming the sushi, but
yeah.
yeah, that sounds like they make it cut a little short if they're not careful.
okay. So
Mm.
with the roll, now we don't have much motive other than the base motive that was in the file of like clearly Derek had it out for TLC for how they treated him as a basically staff. But
Is anyone a cybopath or a cibopath? What are everyone's quirks here?
the inspector possibly.
I am not. I thought about changing it. But I was just going with the pre-gen, and the pre-gen had the
Yeah. My
Could this
quirk,
be a flashback use? No.
my quirk is I am a celebrity.
Bum, 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 bum. What does Cal have? What is your quirk?
you can cook meals others never forget.
Ooh.
GD?
I already did mine. I can describe food so perfectly that you can taste it.
Okay. So pushing
I
the
mean-
group to crack the case.
Yeah.
The other thought is I guess knowing my powers, I don't know how it would work exactly, but I could try. I mean, I'm already out the window actually. We could do a flashback maybe. Like I was just thinking like I could try cooking the sushi, like put it on a
Yeah.
hot plate or something in the hotel room before I came over to see if that like I don't know evoked any memories or some reason like you couldn't forget that meal but it flashed back to what happened before to it.
Oh,
So your power lets you cook a meal so that people who eat it will never forget something.
Okay.
So it's a great way to be like, whether it was like, okay, this is the square root of pi, like, and they will never
Okay,
forget.
gotcha.
It.
Could
But
we
it is
use it
very
for-
specific and weird, but yeah,
We
but it is
use it-
great for some things.
We use it for photographic memory that would remind us of a detail
Yeah.
we missed.
No, but it wouldn't have any like exploratory power. Like now, maybe if you were a person who had both those powers, because there are ways to have more than one quirk.
yeah.
Like if you had that power and you were a psychopath, yeah, you could. Okay. So with the case, we have a location, we have a suspect, we may or may not have a motive. But the motive that's on the board isn't bad. Who would like to roll for our crack the case roll?
Me.
Okay.
Good at that
Gigi,
stuff.
why don't you roll 3 dice and let's see what your highest die is?
Do I
We're
use
rolling
any of
for
my abilities
one of
for-
each detail.
What's that?
We're rolling for one of each of these blue post-its.
Okay. So roll 3d6. I'll go Google Dice Roller. 1, a 3, and a 5.
Okay, the 5. 5 means we get a risky situation. Skipping ahead, all of you find yourself at Penicillin Plus. At Penicillin Plus, we believe that Derek Cho was going to meet or was going to enter in one of these 3 areas, probably. Or so one of 2 areas with some note of interest of the 7th floor. You're trying to apprehend Derek Cho, a person who food power that if you witness them eating something that is of a long variety, you can find yourself seduced and maybe even become one of them, his gang of thirst traps. These are other financial institution sort of employees who have hearts all over named Goo Goo Gaga over the Long Long Man and sometimes over the couple of lieutenants that the Long Long Man may or may not be with.
Oh, I get it now.
And
I just put the thing together. No, I mean like I solved the case. Out of game. Okay. Sorry.
What was it earlier? To pick out
Jiffy
Scott.
Pop.
The
It was the
Jiffy Pop.
I get it now. I get it. Where would you like to enter? How would you try to apprehend Derek Cho?
Didn't I get some information on specific entry points?
Yep.
Like there was a secret entry.
There basically it was the entrance exits on the ground floor.
Okay.
There's one that seemed to be of note, which is like a side exit door. That would mean that somebody would be at the door to kind of like have it open.
Okay.
That would be like if that was no, that's basically what it was hinting at, was like somebody having the door
Hey,
open.
call
for them.
your daughter. Find out
Yes.
she found a way to get to work.
Well, so could we do a flashback where like I drove her to work and then took advantage of that to have her open the side door?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because you don't have to go right this second. Derek Cho is not at Penicillin Plus right this second, right?
Okay.
Like there was a lead clearly that he received probably last night, given the Jonah Welby, the timing and all the stuff, to use for what? Probably after hours, unless he was going to hit them during the day when it was fully staffed. That'd be kind of weird.
Would be weird.
So yeah, it's more than likely either tonight or the next night, right? If he's at an In-N-Out motel, probably tonight. So these are kind of the assumptions that are being made, right? So you would have time, at least the afternoon hours, to deal with your daughter, get her to work, and so on. Given that it's a flashback and we don't have a ton of time, we'll just say that happened. Obviously, it was argumentative. It was difficult. She doesn't really buy this whole like, oh, I just happened to want to do something really nice for you out of the blue after I wasn't worth a ride earlier. So you got the cold shoulder the whole time. But she's there. What's her name?
Priscilla.
Priscilla. Okay. Is Priscilla setting up or does Priscilla smoke, or is there like a side door that Priscilla's going to have open, or was there a door that you dropped Priscilla off but you made sure that the door didn't close?
So I would have dropped her off at the side door, and I would have like walked her to the door and said, "Okay, honey, I'm so sorry, goodbye." And then like, when she goes to close, when it goes to like swing behind her, and she like turns with a huff and leaves, at the very last moment, I get my hand in there and catch the door.
Okay. And then you're trying to keep the door open till everyone else shows up?
So then I'm gonna like they have like the little latches. I'm just gonna have a little bit of super glue.
Okay.
And I super glue it open.
You have the old key card from the hotel you just put so it doesn't latch closed, like in the little door jam.
Super
I would
glue
never
it
use
is,
evidence
right?
that way.
Yeah, we don't.
Oh,
use
true.
evidence. And so Charlie, what are you going to do? I mean, you are FDA agents. They will let you in. You can walk right in, probably walk right up to the boardroom. Now, you may not want to do that for what attention it causes, but I mean, this is up to the group of you, how you want to handle
So
finding
Charlie-
Derek Cho, who you believe is headed here to do some damage. The last time he went to a building like this, he eviscerated the board members and had their meat pies flying out the window.
Yeah.
He fenestrated them.
So Charlie was planning on sneaking to the half floor or whatever.
Oh, you want to go to the 7th floor? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cal would just walk in.
So you find in the 7th floor that it's a server area. Holds all of the computer data of all the clientele. Would have all the clients' data.
Is that useful somehow? I'm joking.
Well, I mean, yeah, you'd have.
I'm joking.
Right? I mean, you'd have all their fund information. You'd have their records. You'd have their bank account numbers and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, it's just on these. I mean, they're in the servers. Like, I was gonna make a bad joke. Like, how do you get in the servers? Like, how do you get that? I got Zoolander on the mind. It's in the computer.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is information you would have gathered ahead of time, like phone calls or stop by or before, the evening. You could have been hanging out, looking around the server area. Cal, what about you? How are you setting yourself up for the evening?
I mean, Cal's a detective. He's just gonna walk. I mean, I'm vanilla, right? I'm unassuming in some ways. He's doing his job. He's gonna walk in the front.
Okay. And Menachem, what is J-Man's position to find Derek Cho?
As a homeless person, streetwise, I know how to get on the roofs of various buildings.
One of the other entrances and exits of note, it's funny because
Yeah.
is the 8th floor, which seems a little difficult as the homeless person. But yeah, I mean, do you think there's a catwalk? Do you think there's pipes that you can climb?
Yeah, or it's next to another building that I could,
Oh, awesome.
access
Is there
it
another
from.
building that's taller or shorter? Like, how did that work to get you to?
Oh no, it gets like a floor taller.
Okay. And is it something like you ran and jumped, or is it something like how would you get from building to building?
Oh, I would shimmy down the pipe that,
Yeah.
led over there. I'm not a run and jumper guy.
Okay. All right. So sometime between the hours of 7 and 8 o'clock, there is a small group of people who will enter in a side door at the basement level, which is held open by Chibi Superglue.
I've been watching it.
You watch and you see it looks to be 4 people coming into the door. Now, when you say watching it, how are you watching it? Are you there? Are you afar? Are you
Stakeout in the El Camino.
Oh yeah.
So it's like a video camera or something?
No, stakeout in the El Camino.
Oh, you're literally just watching them from the street.
Yeah, I'm across the street in the El Camino.
You see
And
4 people in business suits of various looks and descriptions seem to be like sneaking in the side. They're very obvious though, because of the 4 individuals, there is one holding a 2-handed corn dog.
I'm sorry, what?
One of them is holding a 2-handed corn dog. You're pretty sure that's a weapon, but you just don't know how yet.
My character doesn't. I do. I will absolutely radio that in. We have 4 suspects, one armed with an oversized sausage, clearly dipped in it, and then I go into the description,
the battered description, yeah,
of the corn dog, and delicately battered in a corn-based loose batter with probably just a hint of
that's
maple.
That's just a long corn dog.
Maple, I love it. Okay. Yeah, they enter the basement floor. Now, above, J-Man, you hear a helicopter flying.
I will hide. Watch.
It seems to be going for the nearby building that you mentioned coming from, but then at the last moment, descending this way. There is room for a helipad up top.
In fact, there's a circle with a big H in it or whatever.
Yes. But in this case, it has a big L. LM. Okay. Helicopter's coming at the top. What do you do?
I hide.
Yep.
And I'm sculpting a Jello dog as I hide.
Okay. The helicopter lands, and before it lands fully, a person jumps out of it that's got like a handprint, black handprint on their face. African American gentleman, short, neat haircut, looks business casual. Other than a long, like sort of almost like a duster jacket going on. Has a couple of handles that look almost like katana handles, but you can just see the hilts, right? And a bandolier of sushi rolls. Jumps off the helicopter and does sort of like one of those badass poses, lands like a squirrel, and then runs towards the door of the top of the building, pulls a sushi roll out, throws it at the doorway, and when it throws it in the air, you see a marlin appear out of the sushi roll. Clearly, it must have been the fish substance in the sushi roll, and a several 100-pound marlin crashes through the sort of doorway thing and through the staircase, creating like a hole. Which now you see two others getting out of the helicopter. One looks to be a woman in a beautiful dress that just elegantly is walking out and along the way, holding what looks like a paint can, but it clearly is labeled like GFS, like food service, and it's like some kind of melted cheese product. And there is a third person. As the movie camera would pan around in the side and then up and then directly at, and you would see, as if it was a motion picture, a beautiful Asian man stepping in immaculate white clothing, hair blowing and sunglasses, with in one hand some sort of like a Laffy Taffy looking gummy thing that's like 3 feet long, and over the shoulder he's holding a baguette, like as if it was like a battle axe. And the glasses just kind of go to see the eyes. Otherwise, a little like scruffy black, salt and pepper beard, but elegant boss sort of look at this moment, right? And the helicopter is landing, and he gets off, and then they're moving quickly to go down the hole. Do you do anything to stop or interfere or do anything with any of that?
I'm going to follow them.
Okay, follow them down the hole. The hole will take you immediately to the boardroom area where a marlin fell through. So as they descend and you nearby listening in, you can see and hear people yelling, "Oh no, what are you doing? No, 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 no. Is that a crab? Why does it smell like Old Bay? Ah!" And if you peer in, you see again a crab with a steak knife, as it's like you're taking a person who clearly is just like a business person and separating their top from their bottom, ripping them in 2 pieces, laying them on the ground, and then chopping them up like as if it was going to make sushi out of it. With the 2 weird, awkward eyes stalks looking around. Oh my God! Oh God! No! Oh God! No! Oh God! Yes! Oh yeah! I like what you. Yeah, you're just hearing weird stuff that's going on. As you don't quite look, because you're like, is that like? I don't know, man. I don't know. Where's Charlie? Charlie, are you still in the server room looking around?
Hey, what? Yeah.
Carol, you're at the bottom of the building, so Cheaty would have warned you that there were some of these individuals running in the building. Do you go to intercept them? Do you go to follow them? What do you
do? Is there somebody like at the front desk, or what's going on?
You see basically like it's like a security desk, right? People have to like check their cards to go up the elevator to go to like whatever floor they work on. It feels a lot like a government building. Like this base floor is like, got cool like kiosks to learn more about Penicillin Plus, and the histories on the wall, and all these fake pictures of like, look at how many people we served and helped, and and the security person is really nice. I mean, like, you're pretty sure they couldn't harm a fly, but they're really, really. So maybe it's more of a customer service. But look, I'm security.
Yeah. Do you have any extra security in this building? I'm worried that there's something going on. We must investigate some more. What's in the basement?
What are your approaches?
I'm pleasant as pie. I'm just like asking them, like, what's going on. I also have vanilla and infovore.
Okay.
But I also have fast talk. When you dig in an addition effect to any additional effect, choose one. You talk circles around somebody that they become confused or compliant. They let something slip.
Is that what you're going for?
I think so. I feel like it would be an appropriate time to use this and dig in, I guess.
What action would you like to roll? I'm sorry, what attribute would you like to roll?
Charm. Seems like
Okay.
charm.
The person's very pleasant, very happy to talk to you. So you're in control at the moment. There's no immediate threat to you. Um, it sounds like that you should have a standard effect. So let's see what comes out of this. Go ahead and give it a roll.
So what am I?
If you want to,
So I'm going to spend 2 appetite here, right?
Yeah, and I'm assuming that your pleasantness pie is really what's shining through. It seems pretty obvious. So yeah, go ahead and roll on it. What's your charm?
2.
Roll 3 dice.
That's 1 6, a 6,
Okay.
a 5, and a 1.
What would you like to know from this gentleman?
Remind me, I think I got just me as a player got a little confused what this building is that we're at.
It's an
There was a lot
8-story
of clues.
building that deals with healthcare, health insurance.
Okay, this is the that's right. This is the
PP
Penicillin
for
Plus.
Penicillin Plus.
Right.
And Chivi's daughter, Priscilla works there.
okay.
Don't get her fired.
So what do I want to know? I want to know like what's in the basement. And I was also asked like, do they have any extra security in the building?
There is security, but they're patrolling. It's nearing after hours, so there's limited amount of people who are actually working the building at this time. So basically, what you get is there's about 1 person for every 2 floors. So there's probably 4 to 6 people working security here at the moment, who are scattered throughout the building. There is a basement, though, that's not really anything of note. It is a car garage for where people can park. And of course, there's like some maintenance related stuff down there.
I'd want to ask if she could call the security. Trying to think where.
She'd grab her radio.
Yeah.
Can I flashback?
Yeah.
Relevantly, I'm going to flashback. They gave me a radio to communicate with them.
Sure.
So I'm going to squawk into the radio. Death and dismemberment in the boardroom.
So that happens, right? Like the security guard looks over. Oh shit, we just lost the camera feed in. He looks at you. What's really going on?
It's good question. Good question there.
Hurry!
You hear death and dismemberment in the boardroom, and see, I don't get paid enough for this shit. He gets up and he runs towards the front door.
Is there like a radio there for like
Sure is.
for like the I'm gonna pick that one up and be like, security to the boardroom. We've got a situation here. Cal is coming. Pick up the other radio.
Cal is coming.
It's more than a situation.
Pick up the other room. Yeah, I'm on it. J-Man, Cindy, Charlie, what's your destiny? Where are you? J-Man needs help up on the roof. It sounds like something's going on up there.
Boardroom.
The boardroom. Yes, the board. Yeah, whatever.
I stay in the van.
Well, I am in the server room.
Okay.
Was there anything in the server room?
Massive amounts of stacks of servers, a couple of sort of workstations that you could check out. There are probably 3 employees that are walking around through here. Obviously, they're willing to help you, whether it's logging into a computer system or showing you what's what.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's 1 at each workstation and 1 that's just kind of like moving stacks around. So you would have heard the loud crash
Yeah.
when the Marlin came through.
Mhm.
And then the chaos that began to ensue. Though it's through the floor, so there's like, it's muffled, right? There's some soundproofing clearly, but like
Yeah.
people are screaming, and there's like, I don't know, like clearly like a heavy crab walking around. I mean, there's like weird footsteps, and there's some
Yeah.
noise that's happening.
I want to fight that crab so bad.
Get out of the
So-
car then.
So Charlie is Charlie's conflicted because they're like dead set that in their drunken consummation of this Everclear, that like something is going to happen in this server room because that's what the Everclear showed
Yeah.
her. However, she did hear on the radio death and dismemberment. So she's like, I don't know what to do.
Okay. Giving a little more time to your dilemma,
Mhm.
something will change for you. J-Man.
Fine. I'm gonna take out some toothpicks and a bunch of Jello cubes, make like a dozen little Jello dudes, and do
Jello
that.
dudes.
Jello people out of
Yeah.
toothpicks and Jello, and say, "Go make everybody slip," and send them down into the room.
On the corkboard, there is a danger clock. Usually you'd use this for the case. I should have done it as soon as we started, but I didn't end up ticking it, so I didn't do anything more to it. Every case has an inherent danger clock, which is just one of the consequences I can do as we play along is tick segments. So then when it fills, in this case, 4 segments, I can add some additional problem that comes from the case where it starts to hit the players where they live, who they are, how the case becomes more personal. But just mentioning that because it's on the board and I should have mentioned it. But we do use clocks in this game. And what that means is often when we're put against a task or a challenge, especially if it's noteworthy, that deserves more than one success, we make a clock, which is just kind of like a pie, a pizza pie, if you will, and give it a number of segments, which reflect kind of the level of effect that's happening to it. So like if you had something that had a limited effect, it would deal 1 segment, something that standard effect, 2 segments, something with great effect, 3 segments. Something that was like a critical, maybe like one shot the problem. So I'm going to make a 4 segment clock because we're really low on time to reflect our situation here of dealing with the long man and the multiple scenarios that are going on at the moment.
Yeah.
So with that, first thing we have here is we have the Jello soldiers. What did you call them?
Jello dudes.
The Jello dudes. Jello, go forth, my Jello dudes. What would you like to roll?
Abide. What?
What would you like to roll for your Jello dudes?
I'm gonna roll. I think this is instinct. It's like no one's coming to help. I'm not a cop. Just gonna send Jello after them. That's what I do. And it's a half-baked plan.
Good. Yeah.
So I'm gonna dig in for 2 appetite.
So you probably don't have to dig in. You probably already have advantage though.
Oh, I was gonna do 4 dice.
Oh, okay, go for it. Yeah.
And
it is risky because of what we rolled for our sort of crack the case.
Yeah.
And your effect would be standards.
I'm just trying to make people fall down so they stop killing each other. I got a 6.
Okay, great. We mark 2 segments on our clock here.
Ooh.
What happens as your dudes go out and start making people slip? Do they go for the? I mean, clearly there's really 3 targets in the crab at the moment, right?
Yeah. The ones that are hurting and killing people want to stop them.
Which is really the guy who threw the sushi roll and the crab itself.
Yeah, but the other 2 are with them, so they should fall down too.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, and then obviously Derek Cho, the long man, and the woman are really more walking by everyone. The woman seems to be like looking for a way down as the long man is like, then I don't know if you want to say, seducing some of the board.
I want them to fall down, not find their way down.
Yeah. So the Jello begin making people have nice trips.
See you next fall.
Though no one's really witnessing it other than maybe Cal with the camera at the moment. But Charlie, you did hear like a door open, which was some kind of like latch door, it seems. It was to the boardroom. And then you can hear more noise coming in, but no one came down the latch. And the 3 employees that are around with you went to go look, and so it's clear that like everyone's like kind of like what's that? And the 2 of the 3 employees start like moving to get out of here, right? Like hit the elevator.
So the latch door goes to the boardroom?
It does, yeah.
Great. I'll just go in there.
When you go up to it, you can basically see that like up, it's like a ladder, right? Like it's like a secret like ladder, little compartment room around the corner. You didn't realize you probably thought it was like maintenance, right? Or if you even noticed it at all. But it actually goes to the boardroom, and when you look up, you can basically hear people gonna say moaning, but that's not quite right. You hear nobody screaming anymore. Some people
Hmm.
fell down, but people are getting up. So it's not that weird. Yeah, you just hear a lot of people
Okay.
moving around up there.
Okay. Can I like climb up and go through the latch?
You can. And when you do, you must resist. You
I
need
must what?
to resist.
Okay.
You must roll your training,
Okay.
because when you climb up that ladder and you look around, you make eye contact with the long. And when you do, you find this person more attractive than any other person you've ever met. Whatever your preferences are, the lines are blurred to show you exactly what it
Great.
is you desire. And in that wink of an eye and the small gestures of the face, you see a level of love and acceptance and intrigue. This gets your juices flowing. So
Okay.
if you don't want to have hearts for eyes and start adorning your clothes with hearts
Yeah.
and finding every notable desire that you have,
Mm-hmm.
the notable desires that you're told, you need to resist
With training?
with training.
Right. Okay. And how many appetite can I spend to dig in?
So in this case, you don't dig in, you just roll
Okay,
to
you
see
just
if it
roll.
works. You have to roll your training, which is how many dice?
I have a 0.
Okay, so you would roll 2, take the lowest, but you probably have an advantage die from the audience. So we would have lit that. That would apply.
Okay.
You could roll 1 die.
1 die?
Mhm.
Okay.
You roll a 6, it's 6 minus whatever you roll. So if you
Okay.
roll a 6, it costs you nothing. If you roll a 1, it costs you 5.
Sure. 4.
Okay. It costs you 2 appetite. How
What
do
kind
you
of
break eye
celebrity cop doesn't?
contact? Sorry?
What kind of celebrity cop doesn't have training?
Yeah.
A hot shot doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't make
How
the
do you
sheet.
break eye contact, or how do you break the spell?
Um.
Oh, Jello.
You
Go
could
ahead.
you could lean on that. It could be that either you fall
Yeah.
or that the long lineman falls again on one of these Jello sort of
Yeah.
dudes.
Yeah. We can say that I slip in the Jello. That would make sense since it's
What's
all
that?
over. Since
J-Man sent them forth, but didn't know you were there. So like they're
yeah.
just tripping everyone that's in there. So
Yeah.
okay. Blood as your feet go
Like,
head
J-Man,
over
is that your
heels again.
Jello?
It's red. Cal, are you going up the stairs or up the elevator?
The elevator.
Okay. When you get to the elevator, you see 2 people in the elevator already, and both of them have hearts all over their clothes. They happen to carrying what look to be nunchucks made of Laffy Taffies. They are in the elevator when it opens, and they just stare at you. Do you like press the button and it goes ding, and you see these 2 people just staring at you, and they kind of go like, shh, and you see the taffy in between? What do you do?
Can I just get in and press the button?
Okay. Do you how do you respond to them?
Going up.
do you want to roll charm or training, or how are you socially pulling this off where you just kind of give them a look like, oh yeah, it's cool?
Charm. I'm vanilla, right? Like
Yep,
I
very
just
normal.
like I almost don't. I don't look like a cop or anything, even though like I have a gun
Great.
and stuff on me, right? Like
Great. So I think that we'll say this has limited effect, right? Like it'll work for a while. So it's clearly risky because they can beat the crap out of you while you try to act like nothing's going on. So go ahead and roll. You're gonna roll charm. It's risky limited.
So what does that mean exactly? I forget on that.
How many dice do you have for charm?
2.
Okay, roll 2 dice.
All right. That's a 1 and a 2.
All right. So
That ain't great.
you press the button. And you say, what did you say?
Are you
Going up.
going up?
And as you turn around, you get a Laffy Taffy nunchuck around your throat
No,
and
no.
pulled backwards. And another one says, down, MF. and it knocks out your knees, and they both start clobbering you with Laffy Taffy nunchucks. Beating you down. You would take 2 conditions, or of course you can resist.
Sure, we'll try and resist.
Okay. You don't try, you succeed. Doesn't matter how much it costs you.
Yes.
So in this case, it would be your instincts that pop to your benefit at that last moment of like,
Okay.
oh shit, it didn't work, did it?
So that's a 5. I have 1 instinct die.
Okay, so it costs you only 1 appetite to resist. The first one gets that Laffy Taffy around your throat, pulls, and you get your hands around it, and it's not garrote wire, it's Laffy Taffy. So you can actually malleable like hold it and not hurt your hands. So you're not being choked. And you can kind of kick the second one or lift your legs, maybe even parkour your legs up the elevator door so you don't get like your legs knocked out. But it puts you in sort of clearly a fight situation in the elevator. Chidi, are you doing anything in the vehicle?
I'm sitting here thinking about like what I could be doing to support them, because I definitely stay in the van, right?
Okay.
And like I'm wringing my hands, and like I saw the people go in the side entrance, and I'm like, oh god, everything's gonna go bad. I don't know what kind of resources I would have that would be helpful, that would allow me to stay in the van and not get involved.
You want resources to help you stay in the van?
No, I have I want resources in the van that I can get involved but stay in the van. Like a drone. I want a drone.
Sure.
I want a motherfucking drone.
All right, you have a drone. What do you do with that drone?
So I get the radio thing about like there's trouble in the boardroom, right?
Yeah.
And
Death
so I'm
and
going to say that
dismemberment.
there's dismemberment in the boardroom.
There's
I'm
a
gonna
little
say
trouble in the boardroom. Yeah.
I'm going to say that my drone has like a little mini gun and it shoots peas, frozen peas, because food.
Just food.
Just food. So I'm now like flying the drone up to the boardroom level, and I'm
You
sure it's
see
got like a
A
multi
whole bunch of people slipping and falling on Jello. But at this point, you're now starting to see that the wasabi sauce is being sprayed out of like a bottle. And as it's hitting the Jello dudes, they're being stuck and they're starting to melt and they're gooey as they're moving around.
I'm melting.
Not as bad as before, but it's slowing them down and making it difficult.
So
There's
going
a
to
woman
assist.
who's taking them and dipping them in cheese and then eating them. And there is another man who, when he looks at them, they stop what they're doing and they pose like him.
So all the good people are on the ground, and the bad guys are standing up doing terrible things to the Jello men.
The other good people, if they're good people, are actually like taking Post-its and sticking them on them that look like hearts. So anyone who's not dead is standing there. They're being adopted into the thirst traps. And there is a crab with a knife that
Cutting.
I wanted to fight that crab with a knife, and I'm going to. I'm going to. That's right. He's cutting people in half and chopping them up into bits. So I
think ripping them in half first.
There are
Yeah.
3
So
people three individuals that are in a long chain that he has chopped along like it's a salmon steak that he is going to.
So in my
Right.
my lab, on my little laptop, and I've got the little joystick, and I'm like, oh no, that crab is doing terrible things to those people. And I pull a second joystick out from under the, I don't know, I'm not, like doing this in the glove from the glove compartment or something, right? and it's like got like a little plastic shield over it, like do not only for, and there's a sticky that says only for emergencies ! And like I flip the thing open and press a button and it like lights up red, and all of a sudden the drone's miniguns start like spinning and frozen peas start rattling at
Cool.
the crab.
What attribute do you want to roll for your drone use?
Definitely not bravery, because I am in the van where it's safe.
The not guts.
training. I mean, I've spent hours working with this drone, perfecting my drone skills.
You are an egghead, and what else are you approach-wise?
Egghead, refined, and 100% raw.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. It sounds like this would be. It's risky to the drone, right? Not personally to you. And risky that I mean, like you could possibly hurt someone. Whether it's shot through the floor or if it hit Charlie or somehow it ricocheted hit J-Man. But yeah,
All right, so
risky. But I mean, yeah, clearly standard effect, probably great effect because it like if it can pierce the windows, like they're just sitting ducks.
if I roll 2 1s, it just plinks off the windows. All right, 2d6.
Okay,
A 6 and a 5.
6 and a 5.
Ooh, so close.
So you shoot a barrage of peas. Can you describe what it looks like when these individuals who are kind of ridiculous already are being pegged with peas and being mowed down by peas? Whether it actually pierces them or hits them like sandbags. Everybody loves slow motion when people are getting shot at. So.
Yeah,
Is it like a peck of peas, would you say?
Oh no, there's just, I mean, it's just like a torrent of peas, and it just creates like a horizontal line, the window just shattering as it's just like and like people with like the like sticky notes are flying everywhere, and people like with their upper bodies just like oh but it's very much like sandbags, like people are getting like thrown to the, because they're small and they're frozen, so like it's very unpleasant.
I have a lot of the Matrix scene where like Morpheus is in the chair right now.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah, just,
that's going on in my head.
And as it kind of like lines up for the crab.
What happens when it hits the crab?
The frozen peas just like shatter through the shell.
I'm picturing
like
them
the
hitting the little
stalk-
stalks of eyes.
Yeah, the stalks of eyes just get like sheared off. The big claw is still attached, but the little claw, but like barely. You know, the little claw is just like pulverized. Like it's still got the thumb part, but the rest of the thing is gone.
Cal, you're fighting in the elevator. We don't need more rolls at this point. We know that the challenge is kind of wrapping up. What happens in the elevator by the time it opens?
So I'm looking at my gear. I have a black light.
Oh, nice.
I want to pull out the black light and just like flash it right into somebody's eyes.
Okay.
As they're trying to hit me with the taffy. And then
That's
yeah,
to like
maybe
blind them. So that
yeah, to like blind them, disorient them, and then I have a standard issue sidearm and everything. I mean, I guess if I'm successful, like I guess I'll just bash one of them with it. I won't fire it.
Okay.
But just
So
to have it
you're
like
fighting
out
them
and ready
and
to
blinding
go.
them and getting hit by Laffy Taffy nunchucks in close quarters.
Yeah.
For Charlie will come up, is already up here, right on the floor, and these peas are flying all over the room. What do you do when that happens?
I think Charlie's just gonna take a rest.
Just laying down, like you probably know of the drone, like you know of the pea shooting drone or something.
Oh, I totally
Yeah, but
shouted
you
over
better
the radio
believe-
covering fire.
You better believe that when this is all said and done, Charlie's gonna take the credit because they're the hot shot.
So when you I lay down, it's like both heads, hands behind your head, like
Yeah.
chilling, watching it all go down.
Yeah.
What about J-Man?
I don't know what to do.
Where would you be? I mean, you don't really have to do anything.
I imagine
where
I
are
was
you-
up above.
Yeah.
And
Where are you looking from, and what are you seeing? Are you watching the pea fire?
I'm kind of up above in the hole, right? I'm in the hole above the boardroom.
Above the pea.
And the pea fire, I'm watching the pea fire come down above the pea. And I'm going to...
The crab is exploding with peas.
Oh yeah, good. That crab made me crabby.
Just give peas a chance, man.
My scrappy doesn't come in really useful here. I don't need to eavesdrop on anything.
Okay, so you're just watching. You just watched it unfold. The drone runs out of peas. The fire stops. There is cheese leaking out of this paint can bucket of cheese made Gordon Food Service. There are a bunch of people with like hearts on their eyes and peas that have like shot all up their clothes. Everyone in here looks like they've been shot up. But if you look at all of their like their clothes, the little black darkened marks are actually just like little peas that are sitting there that have like splattered and making like this little, like everyone's like pegged with little black marks all over them. And some of them are kind of getting up and some of them aren't, but some of them are just rolling around moaning in pain. But once all the fire ends, that's just what it's just this, oh, somebody get the name of that truck.
And my
flowing.
voice like amplified and also modified, so it's like 8 octaves lower.
There's some kind of weird dolphin noise that's being made because there's like a dolphin of like the guy with the sushi rolls like threw out another one, and there's just a porpoise laying on the conference table that's just like, you know, making
Terrible.
I can't even do the noises.
Dolphin
It's just flipping
sushi.
This would all close eventually with you having to explain to your supervisor how this unfolded. But why don't we let each of you say one thing of how do you leave? Like, what does it look like when you leave? Giving you like a little epilogue moment, right? Like the aftermath.
Well, I leave to all of my adoring fans waiting outside for me.
Yeah, there's a
And
crowd
clapping.
outside waiting.
They're like, ah, and I'm like, thank you. I did it all.
Yeah, there's a TV crew in the skies that had been saw you and put it on the Channel 7 News.
I find my way to the kitchen. I take all the Jell-O I can find.
So all this is happening, like the police are coming, the FDA, there's barricades and stuff, and somewhere in like floor 4 in like the employee like I don't know, mess hall, I don't remember what they call it, right? But yeah, the lounge, there's a refrigerator and there's you peering in, opening it, and like grabbing a Tupperware tub.
Jell-O.
Yes, Jell-O. What else?
So do we apprehend? You're saying that we apprehend?
That's going to clearly happen. So yeah, you could
Yeah.
be. That's what you could talk about if you want to.
So sure, I feel like I come up the elevator and like we managed to subdue, and Cal is the one who like handcuffs him and everything.
Derek Cho, the long man.
Yeah, but Charlie clearly gets the credit for it. So it's like Charlie walking out, I'm walking like with the long man, and then like I'm walking behind and I'm just like looking at that picture that just says do better.
Do better.
Yeah.
As I am not getting the credit for this and not going to be employee of the month this month.
Yeah, and
again.
as you're walking out, right, you can see Director Kress out there like waiting and looking at you, tapping her toes. And you have the long man, and the first thing she says to you is, "Did you find Welby?"
Gotta eat.
Put the phone away. I'm sorry. Just say that again.
She smacks you. She's just like you did it all wrong. She's
What
like,
the-
smack. Did you find Joda Welby? And
I feel like there's still some like chocolate on the inside of my jacket. Probably like I didn't get this all cleaned out and everything.
She like smacks you, and she's like, she can see it, and like, the hell is that?
I'm gonna like wipe some of it off, and I'm just gonna like wipe it on her, and I'm just gonna walk away.
What about Chidi?
I don't know like what you were implying about Willoughby, but Chidi is just like standing there at the spectrometer. He's got like a stack of all the files that he has to fill out for all the damage, and he's kind of like going through them, and then all of a sudden the spectrometer pings, and you know, across the street you can hear like the paparazzi shooting pictures of Charlie as she's like dealing with her adoring fans, and it says DNA match, and it's the old crusty sushi roll, and inside of it it's a DNA match for Willoughby, and he was made into sushi. And Willoughby and sorry, Willoughby and Sheedy's just like
I know we're going to kind of do this in a minute, but just to take credit for it, just like Charlie Green, skipping all of the debrief that you would normally have with your supervisor to talk about experience and stuff. I do like to end every game with gratitude. And the one way we've baked that into Chew is that you have a chance at the end to tell your supervisor some reason why a different employee should be commended or reprimanded. And all that is a fun way of telling another player what's one thing they did that made the experience better for you.
That's cool.
If you can think for a minute on what's one thing another player did tonight that, you know, just was awesome, made you laugh, made you smile, that you enjoyed, and tell them about it.
Well, Charlie's going to tell the supervisor that J-Man deserves credit for saving all of our lives with hello.
If it wasn't clear, right? Like that's the point, is like, yep. Even if it's a reprimand, it's still experience earning. Like in character, yeah, maybe you get chewed out, maybe your performance suffers a little bit, but your character doesn't suffer, and you as a player don't suffer. Mm-hmm. It was really awesome.
That's perfect. Then Cheedy submits to his supervisor the form TF1138. It says, once again, I must object to J-Man's use of inorganic material to threaten the lives of bystanders. His use of Jello is completely unacceptable. He damaged significant amount of property, including a door to a hotel room, and the boardroom requires quite extensive cleaning bill.
After they get all the shattered glass and the peas out of the carpet. I want to commend Charlie for getting drunk and leading us to taking a hit for the team to lead us to this location where the Long Lawn Man was going to be tonight.
And Cal would commend Chitty for, well, I guess at least have Chitty acknowledged for putting their vehicle on the line. And the detailing bill, I'm guessing, was kind of expensive. So like they should at least be compensated for the detailing that was required to clean up after the hotel.
Okay.
Let's commend Cal for actually making, you know, unbeknownst to everybody, actually making the arrests.
Oh, and Cheedy would also ask for once again further commendation for Charlie for her excellent job making the arrests. And Cheedy also asks if it's possible to have her sign some paperwork, but it's just a napkin.
Yeah, Charlie will sign the napkin.
And then please take it away. Let's debrief. I ran us a little long, so I apologize.
It's okay. Thank you. This is fantastic. This is really great.
So in order to start the debrief, we like to step out of the magic circle of play by saying our character names, and each person else repeats the character name saying goodbye, and then we say our player name. And then we'll answer the questions, right?
Yep.
So who wants to start?
I'll start.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead. You have the voice.
I have the voice. Sorry, dude. No, go ahead.
No, go. You started. Go.
Thank you, everyone. I've been Cheedy.
Good night. Goodbye, Cheedy.
Good night, Cheedy.
Good night, Cheedy.
Good night, everyone. I'm Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Good night.
Thanks, Scott. I was Charlie Green.
Hey,
good night, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
And
I get your autograph?
Maybe later. And I'm Kayla.
Thank you, Kayla.
Thanks, Kayla.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I've been Cal.
Officer Cal.
Good night, Inspector.
Good night, Cal.
And I'm Dustin. Nice playing with everybody.
Good
Yeah,
night.
you
Thank
too,
you,
Dustin.
Dustin.
Thank you, Dustin.
I was J-Man.
Good night, dude.
Thanks for the
See you
jello.
Night,
later.
Jay, man.
And my name is Menachem.
Good night, Menachem.
Thank you, Menachem.
Hey, Menachem.
Bye. Thank you.
And Pete, you would also do it as game master or whatever you call it. What's the game master called in this game?
We were still sticking game moderator, though. We have a
Yes.
strong reason to say chef. We're just not sure if we like that whole servitude thing that kind of
Yeah.
gets in, right? But yeah, I would be your head chef.
Good night, head chef.
Good night,
Good night, head chef.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you so much.
And I was Pete. Petrusha.
Hey, Pete.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Hey,
Pete.
Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
So we do have a few questions to debrief with. Maybe we'll do a little shorter than we
Yeah,
anticipated.
I think we did. So you guys kind of built in the gratitude. I think we can skip the what did I appreciate about play
Yeah.
because we already did that. So that's really cool.
Yep.
That's
So-
built in.
So Bodhana, since we're here at the Bodhana Save Against Fear convention, which often has to do with therapeutic and applied gaming, the word means to lead to awakening or enlightenment. So did the game tonight bring any awakening or enlightenment for you? Or in other words, what will you take from today's game?
Who answers first?
Anyone?
Anyone?
I'm just thinking about, for me, I almost feel like I did nothing. I almost felt like it was set out from the beginning that I was gonna have, like, my character was just gonna have a bad day, and that was okay. Like, you know, I was okay that, and I kind of just leaned into it. So, I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to take with me is like, well, how could you play that? Like, almost with some intention that it's just not a great day. Like, you know, we so often play like superheroes or characters that are really good at things and things like that, right? But like, what if you're just like having a really bad day at work? You know, like nothing goes right for you on the job. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just what I'm thinking about. I'm not sure if that answers the question correctly or not, but like,
Go for it.
I guess
That's
the
fine.
enlightenment piece of that is like, that's okay to play in a game also, right? Like that's, you know, you don't have to be the one, like the hero of the day, even though like I like playing it out at the end that like I did accomplish, like my character did accomplish it at the end, but like also just didn't get the credit for it.
That was cool to see. And I kind of took that same path of like, you know, I'm the guy that always has to stay in the car. I'm the sidekick. And it was fun to just have a bad day and then be there to see Charlie succeed. But not but
I laugh. I'm only laughing because we baked in the buy you in trouble. So there's a lot of ammo that kept getting thrown
yeah.
at you
Yeah.
too right off the bat,
yeah. Laura said like you got a lot of trouble thrown at you.
which is awesome. It was so awesome. Thank you for everyone who did that. Like that's
Yeah.
great.
And folks in the chat, don't forget that you can also ask questions. But I would say the thing I'm going to take away from this actually is Pete, you made some decisions in moving the action forward, which as someone I game master far more than I play, and I always
yeah.
feel like my players get stuck on stupid stuff, and and watching you kind of take the helm and move things forward was really great to see that the tactic that you used, and that's what I'm taking from this is like that it's totally okay to do that, and then like how to do that in a way that doesn't remove the player's choice.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. It's not something I do necessarily great all the time or something. It's a choice that I have to make kind of when we have limited time, right? And you always have less time when you're online anyway, because you know there's a little like we don't have all the social cues, right? So it's sometimes you got to be one person talking at a time. So yeah, I try to give everyone a little bit of a fair break of some spotlight and then moving on, right?
Yeah.
To try to keep us on pace, and even still is a little behind. You know, role playing games get a little out of hand, so
They can, yeah.
I had to trim the end a little bit more than maybe some of the tension for sure to make it trying to get us on out of here right with the finish.
Absolutely.
But thank you, I really appreciate it.
I just like the hijinks, the silliness, and the slipping in various liquids and solutions. I'll keep it simple for that answer.
Yeah, thank you for everyone being a good sport. When it came to any of those sort of things, that can be off-putting and weird sometimes when it's like, oh, well, is it okay if I just push you two into the room as you're kind of squabbling over the key card and sliding in the chocolate, the sexual chocolate?
Yeah.
So thank you for everyone just rolling with the punches.
I'm just picturing that scene of like Cal sliding through the chocolate, just ending up at the base of the bed and just be like, this is my day today. Like this is my lot. Like like some days like it goes really well and some days like sliding across the floor in chocolate.
Like that could be like an analogy for life. And some days you just
right.
I like
Any
that
other
though,
thoughts on
because
this question?
that is a little bit of an essence of the game too, is that it's the day in the life of your characters. And like you said, this might be a bad one, it might be a good one, but it'll be memorable and it'll be something you carry forward with the experiences as you have more cases, because this was just like session 1, right? And session 2 something else, session 3 something else, and then it may all be building to some grand conspiracy in the background, but all of these things that happened today were not lost. They get annotated on the corkboard and your friends remind you of it, and maybe the chocolate sweet or whatever becomes a thing that everyone talks about forever. It's a cool analogy for role-playing games anyway, right? It's a shared experience that like these memories that are real even though they're actually not real.
Really great.
They're very much real.
So the next question I want to ask.
Wait. Kayla didn't do.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm gonna
Hold.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's go to the next question.
I read that.
Yeah.
The Bodhana Group also says that role-playing and storytelling games provide a nurturing and safe environment where people can work through trauma, anxiety, and other emotional issues. Players who are also all mental health or spiritual professionals, how do you see the game being used in this way? And since we had the creator here, Pete, what thoughts do you have about professionals like us using this game in our practices?
So, I mean, starting in a lot of ways, this is a bad game for you to use because it's silly and absurd. And sometimes that can be good, right? Because you can lean into that character-wise of like, hey, you're having a bad day, but it has nothing to do with you as a person, right? It's that game therapy, right? Like we can disassociate when bad things are happening and remind you that it's your character, right? But we can kind of reinforce the good things and let you feel that vicariously through your character when it's cool. And the best merits it probably has for that is it simulates a lot of similarities with life, right? So you could have an exaggerated personal trouble that's laughable, but a laughable version of maybe something that you actually want to deal with, to make it I don't know if you want to say make it a joke, right? But like to exaggerate enough that it's unreal, right? The work-life balance is a thing that's real in this game. And because it could be in a similar sort of setting if you were dealing with difficult bosses. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are exaggerated in this game for the purpose of being zany and exaggerated and comical, which I wouldn't think would be a great fit for those reasons, right? Because more likely it'd lead you to laughing at the wrong things,
Interesting. When we look at the trouble, and it came up a couple times with each of us, right? It was pretty minor and easily dealt with in a superficial sense. But the underlying challenge was still there. I work in residential, so there's tons of family challenges. And the fact that my character, written into the pre-gen has this family challenge, I'm just like, oh, that's so juicy. Like
it can be very real, right? Like, yeah.
I could see that I could see clients, kids, like identifying it in their character creation, like, oh, this is the trouble I want to put in, this is my trouble, and then being presented with that in game and having to resolve that, and I like how the game's designed to bake that in.
That is a good point. Like, if you want to take add an element that makes people be kind of real people in any game, it's like we gave each of them some persistent problem that they uniquely have that will and is enforced, brought into the game, that like isn't something that's on the back of your character sheet you can forget or neglect, right? Like there'll be times where the game master's like, hey, what's your trouble? Because it's one of my choices of what I can do here. Or there's a couple things that are like a perk that says you must invite your trouble into the situation for this. Which is neat because it forces players to have personal problems to deal with. Like,
I think it's great. I think it's really great. I think with the right group, probably adults, it would be, I think you could leverage a lot of those features.
Well, and the digging in, right? We have these approaches that you can dig in. You could look at your assets and your strengths and go, I'm going to use these to give myself better chance of success. And it does cost you a little something sometimes to dig in.
I think especially that idea is prevalent in the way social workers think about clients, because we are supposed to take a strengths-based approach. And so I like that. Like the whole character design is done so simply that I think it's easy to kind of like really identify some basic things, and in a way that like a game like Dungeons and Dragons, where you have like the 6 attributes, doesn't do.
And these attributes are very obviously, we try to pull them so that any noir or any detective, any investigation sort of game falls into like these almost tropey versions of the attributes, right? But they are also real, like kind of, I don't know, like strength, charisma, intelligence, wisdom. Seems very simulationist, but like not with a necessarily goal. It's just kind of like, let's give you some idea of a whole person, where this gives you a lot of attitude and personality baked into every one of those choices, right? Like, why is it your instincts? I didn't call it dexterity or your reflexes. You know, your instincts are something that are like, I don't know, human, innate, like there's a motivation there of why they work. Do you care about your training? Are you pulling it in? Or is this like something you've learned for what reason? And it could be from anything you learn. And then obviously guts is confidence and charm, talking your way and in any which way. So in some, I mean, clearly compared to D&D, definitely a step.
Any more thoughts from the peanut gallery?
I was just gonna add the work-life balance piece is kind of interesting to me in this, you know, looking through the quick start a little bit, about how those things can kind of bleed into each other in the game and how that's built in as well. I think there's some really interesting and like very real aspects of it, but you know, the fact that the weirdness or the zaniness of the game a little bit is turned up, that it can, you know, maybe not hit too close to home if you know, using that with people and stuff. So
it is interesting, you know, because of the group that we have here and of the background that everyone has at Save, to think of it through that lens of like, okay, no, my character literally needs a break right now. Too much has been going on for too long. Or the literal, not really therapy, but like the literal, like, okay, I have 4 conditions right now. And I could try to invite these through the 4 specific clear conditions that are all going to incite some kind of problem. Or I can take J-Man to the dumpster and have J-Man show me around the dumpster and what's cool about the dumpster as J-Man and I work out my issues of how I've lit the case and my personal problems go too far and my charm is twisted to being manipulative and I've become impulsive because of all of the fear. And then literally whatever you can work out in that scene as we approve it, it gets removed from your sheet. So it's weird how that became such a practical, normal application of it, but like forcing players to mechanically cure conditions by actually talking about the conditions is like a thing.
It is.
And doing it when you should be working on the case, like making the time to do so, right? Like it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Make those
I can almost see like the downtime also, like in the downtime, which we didn't get to today, but like I need to go talk to my therapist. or something like that. Like that could be an activity that somebody took during their downtime or something, right?
It's literally the same thing of what I was just saying. It would be a
Right.
connect, but you on the board would have a therapist. It would be
Mhm.
one of your connections be tied to you, and it player or NPC, because it'd be who is that person for you, right?
Well, yeah, you heal, rejuvenate by taking time off, by making connections with the important people in your life.
Yeah.
They're great, tools for our work.
Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
Finally.
So we have one last question that came from the audience. And is there anything from tonight's game you'll apply to other games, or would like to see in other games? And then we'll wrap up, I guess.
I can't answer because I'm totally biased.
I really liked the break feature. Like I thought that was, even when you said it, when you were kind of talking to us about like that was something that we could do, that was a mechanic. I was like, that's really cool, because like how you don't come across games where like that's an actual mechanic that you can do to just like step to take a break, right? It's a lot of
Sure.
like action movement type play a lot of times. Or if you're us, we play at a pizza shop for 3 days. But I digress. So
Especially with a
I
game with
really like
food,
that.
right? Like a game with food. Like
Yeah.
we want you to eat. Like in this
Right.
game, it's not the travel. Don't totally
Yeah.
skip it. We want you to grab a beer with your partner.
Yeah.
Maybe even on the clock when you're not supposed to.
Right.
You know, like
I just think that's really cool. And then you making that a thing.
Well,
Yeah. I want to
Melissa?
explore the Forged in the Dark system more now. I guess
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
one piece that I'll take
Yeah.
from this or want to apply to other things. I've been intimidated by that one a little bit for some reason. I don't know why, but
A
the
lot of
system
moving parts.
seems to flow pretty well for me. So yeah.
yeah. And after having played this, when you go back to reading it again or trying it, you really have a feel for it now. It's just that position and effect conversation that happens each time. We take everything into effect as the game master, but we kind of let everyone kind of know. Like everyone else is just as much judging it. Like anybody can argue with me. Anybody can be like, "Well, people, do you think so?" I think sounds like great to me. Like but it makes it an open conversation instead of just some judgment call that I quickly make in my head, which I kind of do, but I announce it right so that everyone can talk if they want to or change what they want to do. And that stress economy instead of appetite becomes stress, and there's ways to push your roll and devil's bargain. So a ton of the stuff you saw will be, oh, I now know how that works.
Mhm.
There's just the heist dynamic, or different Forged in the Dark games have different dynamics. We added the approaches. It's a big one. Usually you have a lot more actions instead of 4 attributes. A handful of things there.
This is the second game I played this year that I've enjoyed that had the charting of relationships, visual manner. Exquisite Polycule also does it. And I think it's really useful, one, therapeutically or spiritually, to people to map out their relationships and see it represented. It's also just a good tool to keep track of the game.
It's that map, as it were. That's a tool that's used in a couple different therapeutic approaches, and also in systems approaches. And I agree with that. Like I really like that. It's also, I think, great. Like, I work with younger kids, so I could see using that type of tool with younger kids just as a way to like kind of save the space between sessions.
Yeah.
So if we're playing a game where there's like some longer story to it, having a tool like that we can then like unroll and unpack to remind ourselves.
You have a habit of making tools that are good for other games. The Dream Map from Dream Chaser could easily be adapted to other games too.
Yeah, that one was completely made with that in mind. This one was I do love running games that are more than one session because, like you said, like my prep is kind of like I sit down and I look at the board, and I start going over like, oh, so and so knows so and so, and oh yeah, and when they met so and so, and they talked about this, and oh yeah, that trouble thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's a great. And then if you're a group that recaps, like you play every other week or something, it's great because you literally can all just
Yeah,
look
it's
at
right
the
there.
corkboard and start talking
Yeah.
about it. Right? It's a good
Which
tool.
is such a good, yeah. I think it's a good tool. It's also graphically, it's just pleasing on the eye. It
Yeah.
looks good. Um,
But trying to make tools like that that people will use. I mean, that's the big gimmick is you kind of are always there are other games that have like group handouts and things. You
which,
try to tie it into the game so that it's worthwhile. Because my favorite thing is that I love how much of the characters get put on the board over time. You know, their troubles and who they are and what they care about. And then because it's on the board, it's there for everyone to poke and pull from. Like it's not hidden on the back of your sheet. It's not forgotten. It's not lost. Um,
yeah.
Sometimes you have a character background or a connection or something, but then it's like, oh, I forgot that happened. You know, I forgot all about that person. But now if you have a favorite restaurant, everyone keeps taking you back there because they're like, that's the one restaurant on the board, or the second place we went to, or, you know,
Yeah.
who's the chef here anyway? Like suddenly that's important because you're always there, you know?
Which the physical for the Kickstarter, the physical is it's a whiteboard, correct?
It's a dry erase
Yeah, dry
quad
erase.
fold board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
so
just
it's
thinking I
like,
have to go change
That's
my
an
change my pledge
option.
now.
Yeah, so I did. I went up because I was like, I need
Thanks.
I need the physical thing because
It's cool.
I
And
yeah, that was yes, that's just great.
Hey, Pete, you got a comment in the chat that it's a fun RPG and not all ones based on on comic books have such a great treatment.
oh, that's nice. Thank you.
I have a question for Pete.
Yeah.
So part of this is this is like day 3 for me of I'm like running on
You gotta be
fumes.
fried a bit, yeah.
I'm very fried. But so for Rotten, what would be some what could have been some options?
So right now, I mean, we've seen all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It's one of those, I bet you it'll be fine tuned by the end because you probably don't want something that's so oftenly further questioned. You want something probably more obvious.
Right.
But Rotten's weird because we like that everyone gets a spin on it. Because what one person says is rotten, we don't want to kind of like label things as specifically like wrong, right? Like, which is neat, especially in this audience to talk about that because even by saying like, let's say you're crazy, right? Like, or manic, like these don't necessarily have to be like straight up flaws, right? Like they can be
Okay, yeah.
difficult to deal with. So by saying rotten, one of the reasons why it hasn't gone further is because we also haven't wanted to peg any of these things, even by just saying like crazy or maniacal or something.
Mhm.
Like they just seemed a little too, I don't know, the knife cut a little too deep.
Yeah.
So we've left it where, you know, some people have just been socially awkward. Some
Yeah, I was
people
like
have
trying to I
been,
was like, is it like a thing or can it be like I just smell like everything I consume?
and some people are pervy, you know, and
yeah, okay.
we actually have
Yeah, yeah.
slime ball that fits that better.
Yeah,
But
that
you
makes
know,
sense.
or we've had people that you know, they're just dark, like they're, you know, like maybe they're sociopathic, they're you
Sure,
know.
that makes sense.
So
Yeah.
we've had all the different slices of it,
Yeah.
but it has been fun playtesting wise of letting it kind of be aired out and
Yeah.
seeing where people take it.
Oh, that's cool.
I feel like I should have a couple more examples. They're just not coming right now.
No, that's great. That's helpful. I was like, my brain, I don't know.
No, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
rotten. There is a power that's pretty neat, which I'm pretty sure we made up that I kind of came out of rotten. Is one of the low life, well, it's not a low life power, but it's on one of the low life sheets. Is it like when you eat rotten food, you can see the weaknesses in other people,
Oh,
but
that's
for as long as you can
amazing.
stomach it.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
so cool.
because all the powers that are
Yeah.
food based, like
Right.
you're human. Like, so for the
Right.
most part, it's like you get full, you get sick, you get
Yeah.
nauseated. Um, so
cool.
even though, you know, you're a real person dealing with whatever your benefit is, oh, cool. The more I eat, the smarter I get. Well, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
naturally see problems with that.
Right.
eating habits and what you eat, and how you eat. And
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for answering.
Mhm.
I think Menachem had to step away for a second.
I'm sorry. I just fell into the rabbit hole of looking at the kickstart and all the options.
Sorry, yeah,
Problem.
I'm notorious for that. I always give a lot of
There's
options.
a tons of options in it. There's like the rewards, like the stretch goals have been also will give a bunch of additional content, like
Yeah, we have
lots,
8.
massive
We've
amounts of
knocked out
content.
8. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's
Like,
gonna be a lot of adventures
I-
coming from
you were
a huge,
funded.
diverse cast.
You were funded within like the first like couple hours.
Yeah, so we were called out yesterday because my partner knew. My partner was like 82 minutes.
Yeah. It was
That was
like it was a very minute time, and I was like this close to being the first backer. I was so close. I just couldn't decide between the tiers.
I don't blame you. And Kickstarters are always crazy. It's always crazy. Like literally, I had like an hour's sleep, and my graphic designer was working till like the minutes
God.
leading up because somehow they were off on like, oh, I thought it was because they're in Japan. They were like,
Oh
oh,
wow, yeah.
I thought it was tomorrow.
Oh no.
I'm like, no, that's why we've been working on this all night, like on and off. Like, how about this? How about that? And so we still launched like 4 minutes after time because I was like, it was
Yeah.
you spend a lot of time making sure like, hey, this is when it's going to happen. But if you were watching and waiting, that's where the couple minutes were. We were literally deleting some of the pictures from the staff because you have a character limit on the page. So somewhere in that last little bit, as we're adding the last few things, it's like cannot save because, and it's like we're trying to have the reward pictures, which are more important. And so we literally like canned some of the staff photos for like the first 45 minutes. And then came back and put them back afterwards when we had like a little bit more time to catch up.
Yeah. Oh,
A couple more pledges. If we get 2 more pledges tonight, you'll probably make 30,000 tonight.
Really?
Well, you'll be 29. No, sorry. You're just short of 29,000 right now.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So
it's really cool to see.
It was a good day. Yeah, it was a good day.
And I've got Chew on hold at the library because now I have
that's
to read
amazing.
this
It's
now.
at the library.
Yeah, it is.
I know. Obviously you can get them all on Amazon. You can get the volumes pretty reasonable. And I buy a lot of stuff used. Like when it comes to that, sometimes you can get great deals, a few bucks, stuff. Right? But there's also a lot of people, if they like the digital, the Comixology is pretty popular these days for like finding comics online. And like the whole catalog's there. I think it's like $5 a month or something. Like you can pay like $5 for 1 month and read all the books.
If only I knew someone who collected comics and or owned a comic store.
There you go. Yeah.
On
that's the best way to do it.
I'm just a partner, but I think I have all the single issues of Chew.
That's incredible. And they're worth money. A lot of them you can't get them. So
that's so cool.
Would you let me touch them?
I had the first one had a flip-flop. I think I may have missed the first one. I got the flip-flop issue of Walking Dead that had it in the back.
Oh.
So I don't have issue 1. They didn't pull it for me that week. I was really upset.
Oh. I think it's funny, I know we're just spitballing, so don't let me talk too much. But like Chew in a lot of ways is billed as like the alt comic. Like the thing that people really credit it with is it was for the people who came into the store and they're like, yeah, like my girlfriend or my boyfriend or my partner is like not really into comics, but like, do you have something for them? They don't like all these like superhero things. And like, that was like where Chew lived, was like, it's the weird comic that like kind of was for a lot of people. And especially for Image, I like redefined Image to be like less superhero-ish and a little more weird in a fun way, like more fun.
Because it was fairly early on in the non-superhero explosion.
It's 2009, I think, is when the first one came.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny how that in Mitch, who helped me, broker the deal, like he was the one. His partner loves Pathfinder, and she was at the comic store like, what can I get for my boyfriend who like won't even come here? Which now he loves RPGs, but at the time he wasn't there yet. So it's funny that it was the opposite of most. Most people are like, You know, and my girlfriend thinks I just like these nerdy comic books. Do you have
Yeah.
something that they'd like?
That's cool. That's really cool. On that note, I think we're it for tonight.
Another
It was a
great
really
night of
great chat.
save.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
How much did we raise?
So tonight we raised quite a bit of money. It was our most popular night. But in total, we've raised $352 for save for the Bodhana Group.
Oop, you just got another backer.
Yay!
Ooh.
Equal yay.
I think that's
Look at
Brian. I think Brian just backed it.
Yeah.
Yay!
I'm doing it right now while
There
we're
you
talking.
go.
Yay! I need that phone blaring sound. Like,
Yeah.
The phone's in the back of the PBS pledge, you know.
That's yes, Brian. Don't steal Tim's copy. Tim will be very upset.
I
3 new backers.
it's very impressive game.
As you hear Scott typing in his information.
I can't remember my fucking password.
Oh,
fucking
geez.
Yeah, I don't know if
Kickstarter.
you saw the layout. The layout pages are like, I mean, Federico Sanz is like an incredible graphic artist. So I mean, like currently, like right now, the quick start when you get it in the next week or two, like everything's like a 2-page spread that's like laid out on art from the comic. It's like ridiculous how good it looks because it's a quick start. But like,
Yeah. The quick start looks, the little bit
mean,
that
like,
you've showed.
you never ever have a quick start with this much art at the time, you know, because usually you need the money to make the, you know, it's the opposite. Where in this case, that was like the first thing we bought, right? Is we get the rights to all the art. So
Pete, you have people trying to decide what level to back at. Is the
Pledged.
Universe? What? Tell us about the Universe book.
So
That's a great question.
Blades in the Dark and Forge in the Dark generally are like a 1-book thing. They usually don't have a lot of setting. They have like an idea of what the setting is. Blades has a lot more than most, where it kind of breaks down different town, like the basic town concept of the Duskwall City. So the point is, we have 60 issues that like give us a lot of ideas about not only like cybernetic animal partners, a ton of different government agencies like the National Weather Service, the Secret Service, you know, all of the criminal underworld, you know, like whether it's the Yakuza, the Jersey mob, the, you know, people who are smuggling and so on. So the point is, for people who just want like enough and they don't mind the core game of like agents of the FDA, maybe with the USDA and NASA a bit, you get the core book and you get enough to go. The world book, which is the Chuniverse, it adds a lot of everything, right? Like, because it's the one where we can go like, here are all the factions. Here are playing people in the criminal underworld and flipping the dial on what the target of the, it's not a case anymore, right? Is it an assassination? Is it a heist? Depending on what groups you're working for, it allows moving from different agencies to different factions and you know, moving around different play. Breaks down like, instead of having like cybernetic animals be like a hot shot, it goes in full detail of like, here are what Navy SEALs are like. Here's a cyber giraffe in the USDA. Here's a cyber rat. You know, that's the point. It just kind of goes into a lot. Gives you some ideas of the future, because like we have some ideas of the future. Yamapalu is a tropical island that has the Galisbury in the comics. You're going to be able to go there and do things, you know. So Baltimore becomes a thing instead of just Philadelphia. So
the Universe gives settings and lore for the game,
and a lot more game content.
Very cool. And it's got another additional cool cover.
The covers are beautiful.
I also really love the fact that you give the options between the like paperback at the size that the comic is, or the hardcover. Like, I really appreciate that.
And the truth is, for the most part, the hardcovers probably won't really exist after the Kickstarter, because they're really just an RPG collector thing more than they are like a comic collector thing. At least in most people who have the comics already have like their wall of trade paperbacks for comics. So like putting the RPG in there is like, we wanted it to like just flush, you know, with it. But if you're a person who you're collecting to put it with your Blades in the Dark, Bands of Blades, and so on, then you're probably gonna get the hardcover and stick it.
Well, I don't really like hardcovers, so I will.
Especially at the size.
I
Like
really
6x9, 7x10ish
yeah.
is like, yeah, they're kind of
It's
hard
just
to.
clunky, and so I was like, this is really, I really like this. More Kickstarter should do this.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's weird because like usually you break it into more levels, but I was like, honestly, like people are gonna want it one way or the other because they want it
Mhm.
that way. And I didn't charge $50 each, right? Like it's 40, like that's not bad. And it's a little bit less because it's a Kickstarter. So
Either way, I'm excited. We're excited. Thank you again so much
hey, thank
for
you
doing
for
this.
making
And
this happen.
yeah, and I mean, I think there's a few other cast members who would like you to come back and run it. I know Tim really wants to play, so
Yeah, there was
we'll have to make that happen for him.
Sounds great.
there was a lot of, I want to say, consternation, is that the word, about like how to divide up the group and who wanted to go with what. And like I was being super chill about it, and Kayla keeps saying like, which one do you want to go in? I'm like, I want to go into Chew, but don't want to say I want to go into Chew because I don't want to be that like, I'm like, I haven't played either of these games, I am fine with either. And she's like, pick one.
Yeah.
Fine, I want to do Chew, of course I want to do Chew.
Yeah. And are you saying with mazes? Because like mazes is so awesome.
Mazes was so good too.
Mazes
Last
was
night
amazing.
that stream, it was it was so
It was beautiful.
fantastic. Yeah.
I
was
talked
just-
to Chris and I was like a while ago, just randomly, and I was like, I so want to do like a Castlevania with that system. That's
That would
like I
be
really like. Really, it's just
fantastic.
maybe it's kind of a smaller game, that way for
Yeah.
like for me to whatever I do. But yeah, I just that was just a kick that I had. I was like, not enough like Castlevania games, like something that feels like that. That isn't so vampire or something. And I was like, in with that system, it could be really like
Yeah.
not retro, but I think it would even have more of that feel.
That like
Yeah.
yeah.
Because for me as such a foodie, like
Yes.
playing in a world like completely preoccupied with food is such a delight. Like
It's so delightful.
it is because like I will sit and talk to people about food. Like my old chef friends and I will sit there and like pick apart, when we go out to eat, we'll like pick apart dishes and talk about, and sort of like have a game where that's like the thing. It's like, oh, this feels really comfortable and familiar.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be really approachable. It'll be easier to pull people in because you're like, you like food. You have strong feelings about Miller Lite. You have strong feelings about like Doritos.
Yeah.
You can literally have a Dorito power.
That's amazing. Yeah, I sent this video to a friend and they were like, this looks amazing. I want to play this. I was like, yeah, it looks great.
Which, I can't take credit for because like that's why the comics just kick ass, right? Like, so that the reason they stand on their laurels and people are, there's a lot. I mean, all of our top end pledges were gone instantly. We just added another high end level because the art thing disappeared.
That's the likeness one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You usually have those levels and like some people take them and like, you're like, but you expect it to like be a week or two. It was like day one. I'm like, oh shit, I need these Mason recordings like tomorrow, So now I feel really bad that it's been like, I mean, it's not even been a week, but it's going to be like a week before like I start getting those to the top backers. But
Yeah.
like, I was not ready for people to be like, they're gone.
That's
And
really
then
cool.
we're taking the end pages. If people don't know what those are, it's like when you open a book and like the inside cover has those 2 pages, a lot of times are white.
Yep.
But like some cool books you'll see, like Robotech is a good one where it's like a space war is like faded into those pages, or the Sentinels of the Sentinels comics is a pretty cool open one. And like we're gonna put like your backer related pictures in those, and that's just gonna be amazing. Like Poyo
really
massacring 10 backers.
That's fantastic.
In the core book.
Brian.
And then
Brian, do that tier.
Yeah, and then the Chuniverse now, because chogs are really cute. Like when chicken's illegal, people try to like genetically engineer frogs, and they end up making chogs, like chicken frogs. And there are parts in the story where like people like NASA has so much money that all these remote facilities, like when you go to them, like all the scientists are like they're high because they're just all on psychedelics, like doing their job. And like when the chogs and stuff came about, like they found like if you lick the chogs, like sometimes you have a psychedelic effect. So for the Chuniverse, like the inside cover will be like 10 backers, all like wasted lying out around like a NASA facility, like with chogs everywhere, So it's fun and interesting that we could do some controversial stuff in a funny light, like
Really great. Really fantastic. Are we ready to say goodbye?
it
Time
was
has
so much fun.
come to say goodbye.
Thank you all for watching and donating, and thank you to Tennille for donating like $100 tonight.
You're awesome.
That was really
Thanks for
That's
causing
fantastic.
Justin
incredible.
trouble.
Yes. And Scott.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for making me have a
So-
bad day. It's okay. I'm totally
Yeah.
fine with it.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Chol Motzahav,
All
golden
right.
dreams.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Oh my God, tomorrow. I can't. Oh geez. See, y'all were gonna let me go without promoing tomorrow. Tomorrow at 4:30 Central Time, because I'm speaking and I speak in Central Time. We are continuing it'll be our last stream of Save Weekend, and we will be playing Our Haunt by Jamila R. Najati.
Ooh,
That
handy.
game is going to be hitting Kickstarter on October 12th. We're very excited. It's a Belonging Outside Belonging game, and they will be playing that game with 4 of our Gays of Our Lives members who have never played a Belonging Outside Belonging game before. So it's very exciting. So they'll get to experience that. And then that's back to our regular programming, which is, I think it's Kids on Brooms, right? On Friday?
I don't even know. I was thinking that the other day. I'm like, I don't even know what we're playing
I
next Friday.
I think next Friday we'll be back at Yale for Kids on Brooms. And then watch as Dustin leads us into the magical secret societies of Yale. And then on Sunday we start our second it'll be our second kind of campaign for Gays of Our Lives, and we'll be playing Grand Guggenhall, which is it's a Belonging Outside Belonging game. We'll be playing kind of in Gothic London, so it should be fun. So yeah, that's what we got coming up. So
Lots of great stuff.
A lot.
come see us tomorrow. It should be fun, and it'll be all new faces, and so you can see some of the rest of cast gamers that stream. So yeah. All right, now we can go. Now we can say goodbye.
Now we can go.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Dude.